What's going on, Panther Nation? It's your man C Dougie here for another Blitz Talk, another Panther video, another collab with a great community, great channel, great content. Got my co-host with me tonight, so you guys know I'm gonna be turned tonight. Go ahead and pull up, kick your feet up, go grab that favorite snack or drink. We got something special tonight that we're gonna drink tonight with our special guest, keeping a tradition to make sure that they feel at home and hear what's up, Doug, man. So before I introduce our guest, let me go ahead and bring up my brother, my co-host, soon to be dad. Um, he gonna be turned tonight. Like I said, I can keep going, man. I already see him smiling behind the backstage. Y'all already know who it is. The Panthers experience. No one other than my guy, Uncle Quan. Go ahead and tell the people what's up, fam.
Yo, what's up, everybody? What be going on, man? It's your boy Q, aka Uncle Quan, man. Look, I'm excited to be up here again, Doug. Doug already told y'all, man, we got some exciting guests up here, man. It's gonna be a fun show. Y'all kick your feet up, like Doug said. Grab your snacks, grab your drinks, grab your smokes, whatever you're gonna do, man. Enjoy the show. Make sure you comment below, man. We'd love to read your comments and interact with you guys. Pull up on your boy, man. Let's get this thing started, Doug.
Yes, sir, man. So, I've had the pleasure of collabing with both of these gentlemen on a different platform, but also this is one person's first time being on What's Up, Doug. So, I introduced when we were behind the scenes. I kind of had to, give him praise because he had the pleasure of being in Green Bay for the draft. Took great pictures, gave great feedback. So, from Panthers on Tap, our first guest that we're going to introduce is no other than Curtis from Panthers on Tap. How you feeling, Curtis, tonight?
I'm pumped, gentlemen. Man, Quan came in hot. I need to level with the energy a little bit here. I'm ready to go.
Yes, sir, man. So I appreciate you joining. Like I said, again, our guest for tonight is no one other than the Panthers on Tap crew. We will not have Bryson here. Bryson has definitely already told us that he won't be here, but he's definitely going to support Rewatch. So I appreciate two gentlemen out of the three join us tonight. You guys know this other person. He has joined Panthers on Tap last year. I think a lot of people love his intellect, but he's been kind of on the hot streak here lately, making fans mad, other teams mad, being rejuvenated. So let me go ahead and bring up one of my favorites who always rocks with me, and that's Mr. Ricky Raines. Go ahead and tell the people what's up, Ricky. You're on mute, my guy.
I'm a very professional person, so I just like to go ahead and get all of my errors out of the way early. What I was saying when I was speaking into the abyss was, what's up, fellas? Thank you for having me on. I appreciate you having me and Curtis.
Yes,
I'm ready
sir.
to talk Panthers ball again, man. I've really been enjoying this. And I didn't know that I was pissing people off, Doug. I didn't realize I was being bad, man. I was just pointing out some statistics, and I don't think the Jaguars fans liked it.
No, I don't think they liked it either, man. So before we kick it in and kick this show off, I told Curtis and Ricky I wanted to make them feel at home. If you guys have not subscribed to Panthers on Tap, go in our description. I will drop their link throughout the live as well. And if you know how they get down on that show, they always got something in their hand. And I told Curtis and Ricky I want to make sure that they feel at home tonight. And Ricky, I'm glad you pulled that out. Oh, I hope I got it up here. If I don't, I'm going to get it. Yep, I do. Give me 1 second.
I just got home from a kindergarten and first grade musical performance of Cookies. So, yeah, I'm going to have a little bit of a beer with you fellas.
So shout out to Ricky because Ricky knows when he gave me this. So this will be
all right.
This will be in this cup tonight. This will be holding the cup tonight. But I'm going to take a drink with the fellas and make them feel like they're at home. So we will be drinking Triple X strawberry tonight, man. We're only taking 1 cup. We ain't gonna do too much because again, it might get too litty over here tonight. So definitely want to make these gentlemen feel like they're at home, man. Again, this is gonna be a great live. You see the title, it says evaluating the Carolina Panthers roster. With the schedule being out, coming out last night, it's time to see how confident we are in our position groups. We're gonna go from anywhere from offense to defense. We're not gonna do specialists, but we're definitely going to give our confidence level on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident we are in that position group with starters and also with depth pieces as well. So, fellas, while I pull something up, go ahead and tell me how you feel about the schedule. We were talking about behind the scenes while I pull comments up as well, and then we'll go ahead, shout out the sponsor, and get into the depth. So, how are you guys feeling? I watched you guys last night. on Panthers on Tap. Quan, you know I was in your chat. But how are you guys feeling the day after with everything where you can sit on it? How are you guys feeling about the schedule?
Take it, Curtis.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I was last night, right before our show, I looked at it for about 10 minutes before we got on. I feel all right, to be honest with you. Jacksonville to start the year. I know I was, I said last night that game is, I think, going to be a little bit closer than we think, but I think that's pretty favorable start for Carolina to go up against a team like that with a new coach, a quarterback coming off of an injury. So I feel pretty confident about the start of the year. I think in the middle, there's kind of a pretty difficult stretch. I think it's like from like week 5 to week 9-ish in there. Obviously, the Saints, you can count that as an automatic win. But in that middle part with Buffalo, I think you got Dallas in there. You also have Green Bay. I think that's going to be a tough stretch for Carolina. And then I always hate the division non-division then division game at the end there with Tampa Bay going, 2 out of the 3 to Tampa Bay. I think that's going to be a tough ending to the year. But overall, I mean, I've seen harder schedules, I think. And I know last year we talked, it seemed like it was a easier start last year and then it ended kind of rough. I think it's kind of a little bit more balanced this year. So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited. There's some good matchups in there.
Got you.
Yeah. For me, it's tough, Doug. I'll level with you. And you watched last night, and anyone that watched any of the clips last night know, I gave him 17-0. And the reason why I'm saying 17-0 is because, we don't even have 53-man roster set. I don't know who's going to be on all these teams. I don't know who's going to be on my team. So for me personally, I can get into, how I feel about the roster, right? We'll do that tonight, and that's why I'm glad to do this. But when I'm picking games in May, look, I'm a Panthers fan. I'm going Carolina on every single opportunity I can. I'm putting as much positivity into the universe as I possibly can. Now, look, hey, we want to do this again in August. I bet you I'm not 17-0 in August. But the schedule is what it is. The NFC South is very fortunate this year. We all get 3 bye weeks outside of the Saints. They only get their 1. But every other NFC South team gets 3 bye weeks because we get to play New Orleans twice. And that's essentially like playing, the flag football team that I coach of 4 to 7-year-olds. So I'm looking forward to those 2 games a lot.
Hey, speaking of flag football, we got another coach on the panel. So how you feeling, Quan?
Yes, sir, man. Shout out to my Mile Creek Chargers. How I'm feeling about the schedule.
Yeah.
I see a 9-8 schedule, man. I talked about it a little bit on the live last night. I see a couple of dubs, man. I do think we can start real strong. Like my guy Curtis was saying, man, that stretch at the end is going to be kind of tough. So, yeah, man. Overall, I'm gonna go with 9-8. I'm gonna go with 9-8 on the season, but it's an improvement. I mean, coming from 5 wins, 2 wins, 5 wins, it's definitely a major improvement, man. I think it's a step in the right direction. But of course, this is all early predictions. Like Ricky said, we don't know who's gonna be on the roster and stuff like that, man. So this is just super early prediction. 9-8 right now, man. That's my prediction right now.
Yes, sir, man. So for me, we'll talk about it on the back end. Quan and I are gonna cook something up. We'll do a little bit of deep dive on our initial thoughts on the schedule. But again, shout out to everybody that went live last night. If you have not checked them out, you still got time over the weekend. It's still a fresh. I think there's a lot of optimism in Panther land. I think I will say right now at the top of my head, 8 is the floor. The ceiling can be 10 plus. I'm fine with that. Again, Ricky made a good point. It's way too early. That's the reason we're talking about this roster right now.
17-0, baby. 17-0.
Because this roster is more important than talking wins and losses, where you can match up how our strengths go against another team. Our very first opponent outside that preseason is the Jacksonville Jaguars. How does this roster right now with no injuries match up with the Jacksonville Jaguars? That's what's important right now. It's not about, no offense to Ricky, 17-0. Your best game is your next game. And Dave Canales really talked about that in the presser today, that no game we're not worried about a stretch. We're our best foot forward in every single game. So let's go ahead and shout out our sponsor over here. What's up, Doug? Which is SeatGeek. I'll go ahead and tell you guys, I am a PSL owner, and I am going to go back in more about talking about with the PSL. But shout out our sponsor, at SeatGeek. If you are a first-time user with SeatGeek, if you type in the code "What's Up, Doug," you get $20 off your first ticket purchase with SeatGeek. If you already have one, have your wife, have your cousin, have your friend, have your girl, anybody that has not had an account with SeatGeek, have them sign up, and you'll be able to utilize the code "What's Up, Doug" to take $20 off your first ticket purchase. So shout out to SeatGeek, our sponsor here at What's Up, Doug. All right, next, before we continue, shout out our members here. And What's Up, Doug? Now I can go ahead and go into things. Reason why we have the memberships at 99 cents is because we will be giving away tickets. I was telling Curtis and Quan, I live here in Texas. You guys know I will not be at all games this year. So if you are a member, you already have a foot in the door of receiving tickets when it comes to the Carolina Panthers home schedule. Also, we have the privilege of giving away an experience that the Panthers are giving PSL owners where you be able to meet and greet the players when they come into the stadium. So we will drop the link throughout the live as well for that. For if you want to grab a membership, again, it's only 99 cents. It will stay at 99 cents. We're not going to go $1 up just because the season is here. This is all for the Panther Nation. This is all for the people that support us here at What's Up, Doug. So again, if you want a membership, it is only 99 cents, people. Not $99, 99 cents. So again, if you want to grab one, we will drop that link in the chat. So, fellas, you guys want to go ahead and jump into it? Because again, we got a lot of position groups to talk about. So
let's get it.
All right.
Yes, sir. Shout out all the people in the chat too, man. That's awesome. You got a great community, man. Here.
Quan, I seen it. Let me shout out the people in the chat. Shout out my brother Derek, man, definitely pulling up. My Bitsar Kuntz, he's a Bit Bills fan. I ain't gonna do no slander tonight because I have been, a little sippy sip. So me, I'll go back and forth with you. But appreciate you pulling up. Shout out to your Bills Mafia, a great team, a great fan base. Can't wait till they come to Carolina, man. Diggett said, no, I think the Bills can do better than 3 wins. Hey, our Panther fans don't allow people to trash talk us over here, man. Making True Money, what's up, man? He said, Doug and Panthers on tap. Yes, again, I appreciate Ricky and Curtis joining us tonight. Then he said the co-host, Uncle Quan, Austin Wright. Shout out to you, man, my guy. Our first super chat, again, if you want to send a super chat as well, definitely put it in there. If you got a question for any of us, we'll answer it, but we will get to every comment as well. He said, yo, Dougie Polo, back in the studio. Let's go. Appreciate you, Mr. Pickle. He said, you're great, Ricky.
Pickle, what's going on?
Appreciate you, Pickle.
Hey, yes, sir. And that's for the C3 family. I definitely appreciate him pulling up tonight, man. Again, I know more people will be coming in. We'll definitely shout out our Panther content creators because, again, it's just as a community and a village over here, man. So shout out to all the Panther content creators. Then Bryson has this for you two. I already know this is not for me. He said, y'all gentlemen behave tonight. So, Ricky, I think he's really talking about
that's a Curtis. That's a Curtis. Everyone knows how well behaved I am.
What we got? I listened to the show today, and I love your 17 and no.
There we go.
All right.
Dare to be brave, Pickle. Dare to be brave. Or stupid, either one.
Edgar.
I'm cool with being both.
Another great mind on Twitter, man. I appreciate you pulling up. He said, good evening, fellas. Definitely appreciate you pulling up, Edgar. And then Diggy said, come on, Doug, just put a straw in the bottle like you know. Now I put a straw in this bottle. This ain't going to turn into no Panther content. It's going to turn into a whole another one. Let's see. JJ, shout out to, can I say FPFO, even though you got the channel up here? Shout out to him, Terrence, Dylan, and those guys over there, man. Definitely appreciate you pulling up tonight as well, man. Let me see if you got any other. And Quan, I see it. I'm gonna get to it. The Panthers, Mad Pie, I know that's on Twitter. I appreciate you, gentlemen, pulling up as well, man. He said, good morning.
It's overseas. Yeah, that's
sir.
from UK. He came to his first Panthers game last year, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Yes, he did.
I remember seeing him eating that Bojangles Supreme box sitting in the stands, man. That's a life-changing situation, man.
Oh, yeah. Gotta have the Supremes, man.
Gotta have the Supremes, man.
And then let me go ahead and put this up here, man. Shout out to my brother, my guy, Uncle Quan. If you guys don't know, we play this song, and I know Ricky knows it. Kurt, this is going to be your first time hearing it. So when we get new members over here, we got a little song for them, man. So
the hot plate, what's up? Doug with the hot plate.
Hey, 20 new members over Quan just gave 20 people an opportunity for 30 days for you to renew that 99-cent membership where you guys will be able to be in a drawing for Panther tickets when it comes to the season. And again, there's more giveaways that we're going to have on the platform as well. So again, I appreciate you, my guy.
Oh yeah, man. Y'all go ahead and get on it, man. Doug already told y'all it's only $1. So it's nothing to just give this out, man. Doug already told you a little bit of the perks that y'all gonna get, man. Y'all can get the PSL view. You can meet the players all for $1, chat. Go ahead and hop on it, man. I want to do the best I can to get this out there to the community, man. Everybody need to be on this. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, fam. Then we got another one. We got Chris Smith. What's up, guys? That's my Tar Heel buddy right there, man. I appreciate you pulling up on X, man. I definitely appreciate you. Jay Bomber said greetings and salutations. How's everyone doing tonight? Zach said, what's up, Ricky? That's 17-0. Let's go.
It gets people riled up, man.
All I had to do was say 17-0, and I'd be getting all this love.
Let's go. Let's go. Man of the people. I'm not worried about being the dunce. 17-0.
All right, so then let me see. Miss Honky Dory said, evening, Jim, and got home in time to watch 55 minutes in Tampa traffic, home to work. Great schedule for us. Yes, I definitely agree, Miss Honky Dory. That's another one of our great subscribers over here. He gave a couple of memberships as well in our last live, so I definitely appreciate that, Mr. Honky Dory. Monet, what's going on, my guy? I'm gonna read a couple more comments. We're gonna get into this debt, people. Yes, shout out to Uncle Quan again. If you guys did get a membership, definitely shout out Quan. You can tag right in the chat, Quan. Thank you, whatever. But again, to those 20 new members over here, what's up, Dub? Definitely appreciate you guys, and welcome to the Dougie Effect. Super Nova, what's going on, my guy? Salute, fellas. Bloody yo. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. And then again, I will jump back in the chat if somebody drops a super chat, super sticker, or somebody grabs a membership. So obviously the first one we're going to talk about is quarterback. Starter is trending up Bryce Young. And I did put that little graphic right there. You're going to see certain graphics on certain players because I feel like these players are impactful to the Carolina Panthers. Backups are Andy Dalton, Jack Plummer, and Ethan Gerbert. That's the undrafted rookie that we just got it from UCLA. As you guys can see, the stats are on the left-hand side. For all the Bryce haters, you can read that. I just put that up there for, your eyes so you guys can say he didn't have a good second year, but we know what Bryce can do. These numbers, this confidence level is a combination of Ricky, Curtis, and myself. Percentage that we had ourselves, but then we merged those three numbers together and we came up with 80%, meaning that we have 80% confidence in Bryce Young that he'll get the job done going into 2025. But the glaring question that I have for the chat and also for the panelists tonight, glaring the question that has the Panther Nation optimism for the 2025 season is, can Bryce Young build off his second half performance in 2024? And for me, I think it's absolute yes. If you look at the aura that Bryce was coming out, the way he's walking, the way that you heard Dave Canales talk about, he was in the locker room earlier than he was the year before when he first came in. I think Bryce just needed he needed uncharted territory, uncharted waters. I've never said this. I think everything has been so easily handed to him, not saying that he didn't work for it, but playing in modern day where you have some of the best recruits ever play in one of the best high schools in the United States, going to the Alabama Crimson Tide where you have 5 stars, 4 stars. Then you make it to the league where we didn't put him in the best situation. I'm not putting that on coaches. I already know how people feel about the offensive line, the weapons, and etc. Going into 2024, I didn't like what I saw from Bryce. Bryce needed to be benched. I think Bryce had a PTSD moment. And I don't say that very lightly. Me being in the military, PTSD is something serious. I think he didn't trust the team. I don't think he trusted his players. He needed to sit down, see what was able to be at his disposal, meaning the offensive line, the weapons that he had last year, and really having a running game. And that one person was Chuba Hubbard. But when you look at the last back end of those 8 games, you saw a different Bryce. We didn't get the record that we wanted. We know what this whole team dealt with. But when you look at it, I think Bryce has nothing to lose. You faced adversity. You've never had to face adversity. Now you faced it, you've conquered it, and now they've even added more to the weaponry that you have. He's in a great situation going to 2025. So I really think 80% is great start for us to talk about position by position. And I think our quarterback is on the rise. And again, I call him Bryce Trendon Young. And I think he's going to surprise a lot of people going. I see you laughing, Quan. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people going into 2025, fellas. So who's going next? Go ahead. Jump right in it.
I'll go. I put this at 85. I kind of wanted to keep my numbers to the side too, because I'm just curious of how it kind of balanced out. But I'm pretty confident in Bryce Young. I always have been since he came out of college. And I'm going to call it, I think he's got his subtle swag back to him. Over that last 8-game stretch, you saw consistent improvement game in and game out. It wasn't like he had one good game and then kind of slumped the next. It was just consistent over those last 8 games. I don't want to rehash a lot of, the past. We all know it. We've all experienced it, the benching and, the terrible offensive line and no weapons his first year, all that stuff. But I think what Bryce Young did in that second half of last year, it was something special. It was top 10 quarterback play. I do want folks not to just think it's a guarantee, though, that it's going to immediately transfer over. He's got to work at it. It's not going to be a guarantee week 1. He comes out guns blazing and he was the quarterback we saw at the end of the season. He's got to work at it, and it's going to take a lot because you can't just take everything for granted that it's going to easily transfer over. And I feel like some folks think that might happen. So, but I believe in him. I think he's going to do whatever he can to finally get the Panthers off to the start they need, and that's with a victory in that first game, and they can kind of get the wheels turning early in the season instead of the back end.
Yeah, that's a good point, Curtis. I'm happy to hear you give us some optimism there, man. Nice tone adjustment from last night. So look, for me with Bryce Young, man, you guys ever, like, when you watch a TV show, right? Someone tells you, man, it's such a great TV show, right? Like, you should binge it. You should check it out. You get into the first episode, you struggle a little bit to get going, right? Like, it just doesn't grab you. It doesn't get your attention. Things don't go the way that you want it to go. Maybe you're distracted. Maybe you got some things going on around the house. But then, you say you take a break and you're going to go pick back up on it. But you got to start again from scratch, right? Because you got a new coach. So you got to pick up right again from the beginning position. You don't even get to, like, start building some momentum, start building some rhythm, and really start to develop the characters in the story. Well, that's kind of what happened with Bryce. And there's shows that I've tried to watch, like Breaking Bad is talked about as one of the best shows ever, right? But if I can't get into it, I can't get into it. And I don't think he ever got his rhythm. I don't think he ever found his footing. And then he had all of these different circumstances, and some of it was self-inflicted. I'm not in the business of trying to give Bryce Young passes necessarily, but I also think that when we talk about, like, man, we just haven't seen Bryce play a lot of good football. In the NFL, we haven't seen him play as much good football. But in college, I saw him play nothing but good football for the most part. And I understand that there is an adjustment to be made, but it is still the same sport. And a lot of times, man, what's the whole point of evaluating a player, right? You're going to evaluate different levels of competition because that's what they've played recently. But you look at what they do and what they do well. What Bryce Young does well, he started doing at the end of this season. And the tail end of this season, this second season, he looked comfortable. He looked confident. He was using his legs more, and he used his legs by choice, right? And he used them timely. When there was pressure, he didn't look panicked. He didn't look like it was overwhelming to him. I think that he got consumed sometimes by the mental and the physical pressure, especially in his first season, but to open up the second season. What I'm looking at now with Bryce Young is I'm looking at a guy who is playing exactly like the guy that you trade the house for to move up to number 1 to bring him in. Now you get continuity. You got the quarterback whisperer coach. You got who also is part of a developmental staff that they keep on telling you about. They got like 8,000 years of experience as wide receiver coaches. They draft Xavier Legette in the first round last year. Then they draft Tetairoa McMillan in the first round this year. Jalen Coker was a hidden gem. And you still got Mr. 1,000 yards if he's healthy, Adam Thielen out there running routes. And then you got Big League Chew. You signed Rico Dowdle, who just went for 1,000 yards. You got to replace Miles Sanders with Rico Dowdle. I'm good with that. I just think that when you look at what they've done rebuilding that offensive line, Bryce Young is the most confidence I have in this entire offense, to be completely honest. And I have no problem saying that. I liked Bryce coming out, and he has shown me nothing as of late that makes me think he's going to regress.
Yeah. Quan, you want to jump in here or you want to start off with running backs?
Hey, I'm laughing at Bville, man, because look, I went through the same exact thing last week, man. I don't know what my dog got into, but he got sick, and I was literally doing the same thing, fighting him to take his meds, man. So shout out to you, man. But I agree with Doug. Like, if I'm going back to the beginning of the year, I'm going to go back to my troll era on the channel. Look, Bryce needed to be benched. Let's be honest, man. The play that we saw on the field from early on in the season, it was pitiful. But a lot of that can be pointed at new coach, new system, new players all around them, you know what I'm saying, getting timing down, all that stuff was just brand new. But again, like Ricky said, I'm not going to bring a bunch of excuses, man. It was just terrible play. He needed to sit down. He needed to reevaluate everything and see the offense being ran from a different perspective. And in turn, when he came back, we saw a different Bryce. I mean, a completely different Bryce. And I mentioned my troll era. I was picking on Bryce early in the year because there was an article out talking about how he wasn't a vocal leader, right? I was like, yo, why would you have an NFL quarterback that's not a vocal leader? Like, you have to rally up your team, regardless if you got the C on your chest or not. You got to be able to speak up, man. And literally every single thing that I criticized Bryce for, not being able to not being confident enough to take the deep shot, 50-50 ball, use your legs to run, stop holding the ball in one spot. We saw all of that, a whole 180 in the rest of that season, man. And Bryce Young, he just played with a little bit more confidence. You can see it in the press conference, like he's talking a little bit more confident, man. He's a little bit more outspoken, and I mean, he's really just taking on that leadership full on, man. That's what's really giving me the confidence in Bryce. Coming out of college, I was studying a lot of his potential and what he could bring into the NFL, and it feels good to see that coming into light, man. And that the way he ended the season, that last game with 5 touchdowns, that I don't know how anybody is not feeling good about that. I can understand if you just like focus on, okay, the overall performance of Bryce Young. Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of good football in the NFL just yet, but I think he's definitely on the uptrend right now, and I think he can definitely be one of the better quarterbacks in this league, man. That's just my bold prediction. That's me being a Bryce fan. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm a little biased there, but I like as far as the real evaluation, man. I do think Bryce is doing a hell of a job as far as coming back in the lineup and just taking on that full leadership and taking on the team on his shoulders. And now he's in a system, second year with Dave Canales, so he can understand the system a little bit more. And now he has a run game that can really take the next step. We saw Chuba Hubbard get 1,000 yards for the first time in his career. And I mean, we saw a really good run game, and it's unfortunate that he did go down, but now you don't have to worry about that. You got Chuba Hubbard, Dowdle, you got ETN that can really take the reins of the running game. And I mean, it can take the pressure off of Bryce. And when you starting to focus so much on that run game, we've seen it from Bryce enough that he can literally take over in the play action game, and he can take over the pass game in general, man. So I got a lot of confidence in Bryce. Right now, my confidence level with Bryce has got to be like I'm going to say 93% confidence level with Bryce Young, man. I think Bryce Young can take us to the next level. Not saying it's going to be this year. I already told y'all my record prediction is 9-8. We taking steps, right? But Bryce Young, I think overall in his career, he can be a top 10, top 15 type of quarterback, man. That's just my bold prediction.
Love that.
Yes, sir. And again, we did drop Panthers on Tap's channel in the chat. I just checked. They need less than 100 people to subscribe, and these gentlemen are at 1K. We have 319 watching over 2 platforms. Again, you guys can go over to YouTube, subscribe to these guys to get them to 1,000 a night. I'm hoping we get there, but if not, we get them halfway there. Again, if you're on Twitter, jump over to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and come right back, and then come back and enjoy the show. So
appreciate that.
Hey, no problem, man. No problem. I appreciate you guys joining us tonight.
I'm terrible at that kind of stuff, marketing the show and stuff, man. I'm awful at it. So I appreciate anytime somebody starts talking about it. I'm like, oh, yeah, by the way, we do this like as a thing. We want people to watch.
Yes, sir. And then shout out to another Panther content creator, Carolina's armchair GM, CJ. Definitely appreciate you pulling up. I call my big bro on X and the YouTube world. Again, if you want to join, I will send you the link, my guy. But again, I just wanted to have Panthers on Tap for a collab tonight. But again, that's another great content creator out there that's in the chat. Definitely sub up to his channel which originally was two fans in the stands. Definitely go and show CJ some love as well. All right, so let's get this train moving. Running backs. Chuba Hubbard, top 10 running back last year. 250 carries, 1,195 yards, 10 touchdowns. Bringing in Rico Dow, Ricky already told you, having 1,000-yard rushers is only going to help Bryce Young in year 3. Then you go and grab running back Trevor Etienne, and then you did re-sign Raheem Blackshear right before the NFL draft. Question that I have for you guys. 2009 season was the last time the Panthers had 2 1,000-yard rushers. Can it happen in 2025? And if Dave Canales keeps his word and wants to be a run-first type team, why not? Again, you do have to spell Chuba Hubbard. That's the only thing. And do I believe that Dave Canales will do that? I'm not quite sure, because I'm not going to say you're going to run him till he's ragged, but if you have a running back Enrico Dow, who was the only true weapon, not saying CeeDee Lamb was not a weapon, but with their quarterback situation, Rico Dow was a consistent for the Dallas Cowboys last year. We saw it firsthand. When he came to Dallas, he came and showed out in front of his family, probably in front of a couple of Rico Dow fans that are Gamecock fans, and he showed out when he came back home. Now you bring in a running back that can spell Chuba and give the same type of playing style. I do think I don't think he gets close to 1,000. I give him 800 yards. I'll give Chuba 1,000, and I'll give Rico Dow 800 yards. That's 1,800 yards. I'm not mad at that, but if Dave does it the right way and gives it split carries, I do think we then get that 2 1,000-yard rushers. Like, I think we haven't had 2 1,000 receiving yard receivers receiving 1,000 yards since Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore, and I think that's the same year Christian McCaffrey had 1,000 yards. So, again, my prediction would be Chuba gets another 1K, and Rico Dow gets 800 yards. Oh, and then let me pull the confidence level up. I apologize for that whole running back room. We agree that the confidence level for the running back room is 85%.
Yep. So I'll go this time, Curtis, since you went first last time. For me, I guess my contingency on the double 1,000-yard rushers. I think you bring up a good point, Doug, with the rep split. I don't foresee this being necessarily like a 55-45 split. I think that this is still Chuba Hubbard's backfield. Chuba Hubbard was the guy that the Carolina Panthers extended. This is the guy that they are essentially using as like the face of their franchise to an extent, man. If we're being honest about it, this guy has probably as much fan support as just about anybody in that locker room. He's done it the right way. He's worked himself back from injury. He's improved elements of his game, such as his hands, catching out of the backfield. We know he stays on the jugs machine. If there's 30 days in a month, Chuba Hubbard's on the jugs machine for 32 days. Like, that's just what he does, man. He is out there constantly longer than he needs to be.
That's
the other thing that I'll bring up here, Rico Dowdle finally had one healthy year last year in Dallas. That was his first like full healthy year in the NFL. And that also comes off of his time at South Carolina, right? Like, he has experienced his fair share of injuries, which I'm not worried about that because I think he's a complimentary back here. And what I love about what Canales is doing here is he's got 2 of the same kind of runners, right? These are downhill, one cut type of runners, physical guys, but they don't necessarily have that I'm going to take every single carry that I get to the house. Like, that's not necessarily the mindset that they have, or the speed, if you want to be honest about it. But I think that I can see Chuba easily eclipsing that 1,000 yards again if he's healthy. Rico Dowdle, I put him closer to that 600-yard range. I think that Rico could also see 300, 400 yards receiving out of the backfield, depending on how much of a workload they want to give to Trevor Etienne out of the gates. But I just think that 2,000-yard rushers, when they're going to throw the ball too, guys. Like, they drafted T-Mac. They've got Xavier Legette. They've got Adam Thielen. They got Hunter Renfrow out there trying to make the team. Like, they got Jalen Coker. They're going to throw the ball. Jimmy Horn Jr. I just think that this is going to be a spread the ball around, and I don't foresee this being a typical ground and pound type of deal. I think this is going to be a very balanced offense.
And real quick before anybody goes, I didn't put Jonathan Brooks up here because I knew These slides were done. You can ask Ricky and Kurtz. These slides were done way before Brooks was even put on the season ending IR. I'm not going to give up on the kid because, again, we had a player on this team that went through the same thing, different position. But I do think he has a short leash, meaning that he has to come back. That's the reason why they drafted Trevor Etienne. Also, we do know the running back position is a position that you can go in the draft and go get your next guy. A question I think somebody just wrote up here. Do we have ground and pound? No. He said, do we have smash and dash again, or is Rico a one-year rental? Honestly, for me, I think he's a one-year rental because I don't think he's going to stay here longer than 1 year. He's going to want top running back money. Me living here in Dallas, I was totally shocked. They went to go get Miles Sanders and they got Javonte Williams and did not bring Rico Dow back. I'm glad that they didn't because we can use him here in Carolina. So I think he is gone after 1 year. It just depends on with cap and everything. We can put a bid out, but I think he wants to be a starting running back. I don't think he wants to be that backup role. And this is not a David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs type situation. Again, I think Chuba's going to get most of the bulk. It's not an even split. If it was an even split, I say without a question or a doubt, I think Rico Dow resigns. But I think Jonathan Brooks going into 2026, I'm actually glad they didn't say that he can come back, send him out, see what he brings in 2026. If he's fully healthy, Jonathan Brooks is a bigger running back than Chuba Hubbard and brought different things. You got Jonathan Brooks, Chuba Hubbard, and you got Trevor Etienne. So I'm fine with it. That's all I had to put in for the comment about Jonathan Brooks. I hate it for him. Speedy recovery, but I think I don't give up on a young man so easily.
Yeah, I'll go quick here, and I share a lot of the same sentiment you guys. I just don't think you're going to get Dowdle's going to get the attempts to get anywhere near 1,000. I think it's going to be mostly Hubbard. You'll see Dowdle, rotated in when Hubbard's getting tired, I think, and he's a complimentary back, very similar play style to Hubbard. And then I think Etienne is going to kind of take away some of his reps too, even in the pass game. So with that, I think if you had it a close 50-50 split, I think you could get close to that, but I just don't think that's the style team they're going to be. And I think like 600 to 700 yards for Dowdle, if healthy all year, is a pretty even split for him. And it's one of those things. Going back to the rental question, I agree with you. I think it's a 1 year rental. I think he was brought in just in case they didn't get someone in the draft. So Correct. He was kind of that backup plan, and then obviously Etienne, fell to them and they went and scooped him up. So I think he was the backup option if they weren't satisfied in the draft, and he wasn't expensive, and he plays closer. Didn't he play, or he's got some ties here to North Carolina as well?
He played at South Carolina.
Yeah, he played at South Carolina. He's from Asheville. He's from Asheville.
Asheville. That's what I thought. Yep. So yeah, I think he came back home to take a cheaper deal, and if Brooks isn't healthy or something goes astray there in 2026, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to bring Dowdle back. But I hope that's not the case because I really do like Brooks. We talked about it last night. I think, like Doug said, I think that's the future. It's Hubbard, Brooks, and Etienne, and I think that's a really solid running back room. So, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty confident in this room overall. You 2 1,000-yard backs in your running back room, and then a promising rookie, you can't go wrong with it.
Anybody else get any kind of like pleasure out of the idea that Rico Dowdle wanted to come to Carolina and play for a competent franchise instead of being stuck over there with that star on his head?
Hey, it's right down the street, Ricky. It's literally 3 lights from this apartment right here. So, hey, I'm
sorry to hear that, man.
I love it. Oh no,
just make sure you don't catch it. Like wear a mask.
Right. I
love it, man. I love it.
I'll tell you another thing too, man. We were talking about the styles and stuff. My son just went to Chuba Hubbard's experience here in Charlotte over there at Garinger High School. Shout out to Chuba and them putting that thing together. But I got a chance to ask Chuba a question, and I asked him, all the parents are asking, like, hey, what's your favorite food here in Charlotte? And you're from Canada. Like, what do you love about Carolina? And I was like, hey, man, so you guys run a lot of mid-zone. Like, that's typically what Canales runs. I was like, now that you got these, hog mollies in front of you, you signed Rico Dowdle. I was like, you guys going to run some more power, some more gaps this coming year. And he just kind of laughed and he's like, shit, man, Pops knows what he's talking about, huh? And he goes, he's like,
the right
you know what,
questions.
man? Yeah, he was like, honestly, man, he's like, I don't really want to say too much specifically because I don't really know who I'm talking to yet. He was like, but we have absolutely had those conversations about maybe implementing a little bit more of a physical profile. So I think that's something to keep an eye on too, man. Is it like these guys are going to get some real wear on their tires, but I still think that this is Chuba's show. And I think that he just really fits what they want to do more.
Yes,
Yeah, that's pretty dope, man, that you got a chance to talk to Schuba, man. And
Awesome,
you
dude.
definitely asked the right question, man. I love hearing that. But I think we all on the same page. Like, I do think it's going to look like it's definitely Schuba's show. If you take a look at even last season with our backup running backs, Schuba still got the bulk of the carries. I mean, yeah, we got to upgrade with our second running back and our third running back even. But I think this is still Schuba's show. I don't see 2,000 yards, but hey, if we're going with 600 from Dowdle and close to 1,000 with Schuba, look, I'm all for that. I'm definitely all for that, man. That's plenty of yards on the ground. That's definitely going to have to make these defenses play honest when it comes to our ground game. But I do think ultimately, just like Ricky was talking about, it's going to come down to Canales distributing the ball to everybody. If you take a look at the roster, there's weapons everywhere. I'm talking about receivers, tight ends, running backs. Everybody is going to touch the ball. So I don't see this turning into a 1,000 running back room because everybody's going to touch the ball. Even Jimmy Horn. I think Jimmy Horn, they might even use him with some jet sweeps and some handoffs here and there, man. So overall, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing everybody get the ball, contributing to rock, man. But the run game, I think the run game is definitely going to take a huge leap. I don't see that 2,000, but hey, I think it's going to be a tough matchup for these opposing opponents.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. I think this
Nets.
I think this Nets group gets a lot of excitement because we took 2 picks for this Nets group. But again, shout out to Panthers on Tap. Shout out my co-host Uncle Quan joining us again. We have over 450 joining us tonight, man. Again, I know it's because we got Panthers on Tap and I isolate Ricky because again, Ricky's a great mind, but Curtis and Bryson, like I said, I had a privilege of doing a collab with them. I think it was with 2 fans whenever we did training camp last year. So again, I appreciate these 2 gentlemen joining, representing Panthers on Tap, bringing Panther Nation great content tonight. So again, if you are new to the channel, definitely subscribe over here. What's up, Dub? But also make sure, and I'm going to check to see if Panthers on Tap have a new number. If you are not subscribed to Panthers on Tap, please get these gentlemen to 1,000 tonight. And again, if you want a membership, it is in the chat as well. And again, if you'd like to send a super stick over here tonight, definitely send it. We're going to go through all questions and comments tonight to talk about position by position. So I'm not going to go first. I'm just going to pull it up and I'm going to ask the question. Wide receivers, confidence level 80. And again, this is a mixture of Curtis, Ricky, and myself number. And the question that I put on the slide is, are having too many wide receivers going to be a problem? And how many will we carry? Meaning, how many wide receivers will we bring on this 53-man roster? And again, having too many wide receivers in that room, can that cause a problem when it comes to actually getting reps during training camp?
No. This is a beautiful thing, man. The reason I say it's a beautiful thing, you're going to have, look, it's a long season. It's 18 weeks. At some point, somebody might go down, man. But having this amount of depth at the receiver position, it gives Bryce plenty of options, man. Like, yeah, we can go into it. Like, that is going to be a lot of learning, a lot of getting the timing down and stuff like that. So it might take some time. But I'm definitely confident in this group, man. Everybody got different styles. Everybody got something different that they bring to the table. Xavier Legette, one of those bigger body guys, you know what I'm saying, high point, yada, yada, maybe run out the catch. Ted McMillan is the same thing. He reminds me a lot of Drake London coming out of UCS. He reminds me a little bit of Mike Evans, man, with the high point. Going to be a red zone threat. He might can, you know what I'm saying, get a little bit of yak. But you also got Jalen Coker. We mentioned Jalen Coker earlier. He's a dominant in the rough, man. He's definitely on the come up. I think he's going to be a hell of a player coming this season, man. I think he'll have a breakout season, to be honest. And then you got Jimmy Horn, that real speedster guy. This is something I've been banging the table for the last two seasons, man. We really need that speed guy to take over the top. or take the top off the defense. And I think this is that guy right here, and he can take the attention off of everybody else. Adam Thielen don't have to be the main guy no more. He can have. I mean, he's literally the last 2 seasons he's been over 1,000 yards. He's been Mr. Well, I don't think he was this year. He got injured, but besides the point, man, he's been Mr. Reliable, and he can definitely get more one-on-one matchups in that slot position. I mean, who's gonna stop Thielen one-on-one in the slot? So with all these weapons, they all get in one-on-one. So with one-on-ones, I think they're going to win a lot of those battles. I'm real confident in this group, man. For me, the confidence level with this group is definitely 95, man. 100% 95, man.
All right, real quick.
Whoa.
Hey, shout out.
I like that, Quan.
Hey, shout out Mike Hollinger. Just thanks for the content. Cheers. Definitely appreciate that, man. Like I said, we do this again.
Mike is one of our viewers, man. He's a good fan, dude. I'm glad that he found you guys' show. Mike, this is a good program for you, man.
Yeah, I mean, we got major collabs, and that's major love, Ricky. Like I said, with us not having training camp, we got more collabs coming in June. So just stay tuned. I appreciate you joining us tonight, Mike. All right, Curtis, Ricky, who's up the bat?
Yeah, I'll go. I don't even remember what I did for this one, but I'm fairly confident. It's always a toss-up of how these rookies are going to pan out. It's so hard to gauge them because there was guys that I thought were going to take off last year in that rookie class, and it took them a bit to get going. So I'm excited, though, like for Carolina to invest in that room, and it clearly shows they have a lot of faith in Bryce Young and wanting to invest in adding more weapons for him. But I'm excited about Tetairoa McMillan. I think he's going to be really fun to watch and adds a whole entirely different element to this offense that Bryce Young hasn't seen yet. And, like Quan said, I am excited about Jimmy Horn. We talked about him a little bit last night. He adds that speed element, can take the top off of a defense, can give you that gadget type receiver, kind of like that Tompkins. They didn't take much advantage of Tompkins last year as much as I thought they would, but I think he'll see a lot more of that with Horn. But yeah, I'm really excited about this room. And no, I don't think you can never have enough of these guys at all. So and especially coming from the Panthers, who hasn't had shit. So let's take everything we can get. I think they carry 6. I think right now it's, T-Mac, XL, Thielen, Coker, Horn, and David Moore. I think, if I'm being honest, I think Hunter Renfrow is a great training camp story. I don't think he makes it. It kind of reminds me of the Tariq Cohen type story, trying to battle back from injury and, make a roster. I don't see it happening. And I do think there's still a pretty strong connection with David Moore, as much as you don't like him, as much as folks might not like him. I think there is a connection there with Bryce. And I do think they carry 6. I think they carried 6 last year. So, yeah, that would probably be early pre-training camp. That would probably be my prediction if we were to, start today.
Okay.
I completely agree with you, man.
You don't like that, Ricky, or what?
Well, no, it's not that I don't like it. I love the confidence. Here's the thing. When I was talking to Doug about my confidence ratings on this, right? Like, I didn't break down every single position because I didn't want to seem like a negative Nancy, right? But so I kind of told Doug just in general, I gave him a couple positions, right, that I was on. But then for the most part, I was like, Doug, I think I'm just a little bit lower confidence, just a little bit, right? And I think that for me with this wide receiver group, my confidence it hinges a little bit more on, can XL get right? And by get right, I just mean catch the ball, because I thought he did a lot of aspects of playing that position better than people anticipated him playing his rookie season. I thought that his route running, I thought his release package at the line of scrimmage, I thought his salesmanship as a route runner was better as well. He didn't look nearly as clunky as a route runner as he did at times at SC. I thought that he looked a little bit tighter. But I think that if this wide receiver group is going to be an 80 or 85% confidence level for me, that means that everybody is playing at a high level. You're 85%, man. That's a B, right? We're talking about a receivers group that we haven't had anything better than maybe C- play out of in the better part of a decade, right? And especially if we're talking about depth at the wide receiver. Now, we're banking a lot on T-Mac, which I'm confident about that too, man. I really like Tetairoa McMillan. I think that this is the kind of guy that you feel really confident to use that high first round pick in. And I think that Adam Thielen is still a good, productive, reliable route runner and receiver. But it still just for me comes down to if XL is just a complimentary player, but a really good one, and T-Mac is the one, then yeah, 80 or 85% I can see with Adam Thielen being your third receiver and Coker being your gem in waiting, right? But if XL doesn't reach another level, if what we saw from him is where he is, then I don't think that we're at a place where we could even be considering having too many receivers. You know what the problem is when you have too much of something in the receiver room? It's when you have too much okay, too much mediocre without one or two really good proven receivers. And that's what Carolina has run into. We've just had a plethora of right? And what I don't want, and I don't think this is not where I think that I'm laying right now, but I don't want Xavier Legette to become another receiver that we have on this team. I want him to show off the athleticism and the speed and the size and just the density, man. Like, how are you gonna bring this guy down? If you give him the runway and he's building up that speed, how are you gonna stop this dude? Especially if you've got to have safety help over top on Teteroa McMillan, and then you got to worry about Adam Thielen carving you up, finding the soft spots in zone. I mean, this is it makes sense what they're doing, but until I actually see all of these guys reach the potential that we're in theory talking about, I got to go off of what I have seen. And what I have seen is the Panthers struggle and not provide Bryce real weapons. So until I see it, I do hold a little bit more reservation, I think. But I love Quan's 93. I wish I could be there with you, Quan. I tell you what, man, I'm a optimistic by heart, but I've been burned so many times by doing that like I'm just gonna ride that 17-0 and keep my individual things, a little bit tighter to the vest.
Yes, sir. And then my guy gave another 5 memberships over here. What's up, Doug? Again, if you got a membership by Uncle Quan, definitely send a thank you in the chat. Just type in Quan. Again, if you want a membership, I will drop it again. It's only 99 cents. We will be giving away tickets. We'll also be giving away, I'll put it out. We'll be doing jersey giveaways. I'm not going to say nothing else, but there's a lot of giveaways coming. Also, with us not attending Panther training camp, not because of my travel plans, we have a new destination this summer. I'll drop it in the chat just for these gentlemen. Quan already knows there's going to be some exclusive content there as well. So, again, if you want a membership, we will drop it in the chat. Again, I appreciate you, my brother. Definitely appreciate you.
Already, man. Yes, sir. Y'all get in on these memberships, man.
All right, tight end is next. And let me take this off real quick. You got Tommy Tremble and JT Sanders. I think a collab, and I think one person had a 75, and I think that was me. But I think Curtis and Ricky, if I'm not mistaken, had a 70. And I think this room is just unproven. And the question I put at the bottom with Tommy Tremble getting his new contract and Sanders going in his second year, can his room take the next leap? For me, we have not had a great tight end room, and I'm not going to go that far back. Or I'll say a duo. I'll do it. Jeremy Shockey and Greg Olsen. We have not had a great duo like that since when Cam first came in the league. When Greg Olsen was here, you did have Ian Thomas. His name wasn't Sullivan. What was the other tight end? We let him go when we got Ian Thomas. He was really big.
Ed Dixon.
Dixon was one. It was one more. I can see his face right now. But it's another tight end that we had. And we have not had a duo of tight ends in the Carolina since, again, Jeremy Shockey and Greg Olsen. And when you look at it, darn, I just went blank. When you think about it,
on the chat, is it Chris Manhertz? That's
Manhertz. That's exactly what I was talking about. Chris Manhertz.
Yeah.
That was the guy. But thank you, and Ricky, you helped my point. Look at what he was able to do in Tampa. He loved his tight ends there. He loved his tight ends back in Tampa. So when you think about it, I think one of you gentlemen said that we will spread the ball out, so there may not be 2 1,000-yard rushers. But there's a tight end that I did not put in starters that I think a lot of people are giving credit to, and that's Mitchell Evans. With the way that I heard somebody, I think on draft weekend, called him Jason Witten. If you know about Jason Witten, he was not the fastest, but Jason Witten got open. He was reliable, and he was a big target for Tony Romo and Dak Prescott. So for me, I honestly think the tight end room is very unproven. I will say Ricky said something about rookies, but you have a veteran and a 2-year player in this room that are unproven. And we like the hype of Tommy Tremble, but at the same time, he really hasn't did anything spectacular. He's just been average, and he hasn't hit his ceiling. And I'm hoping with him getting this new contract, but us bringing him back, that shows that we believe in you. But you also got competition behind you, so you can't get complacent. So that's for me.
You got to hope that he didn't hit his ceiling, right? Like that's kind of what it boils down to for me. Is that what if Tommy did hit his ceiling? What if Tommy is a okay player? I think that he's a competent blocking tight end, which is needed when you have a guy like JT Sanders, and that's not a shot at JT, but blocking is not his calling card. I don't think it's ever going to be. He needs to make sure that his calling card is one that people want to use. Because you drafted Mitchell Evans, man, and Mitchell Evans, this tells you the state of the tight end room. We drafted Mitchell Evans in the 4th, and there are a lot of people saying that he's already probably could be our best tight end on this roster by the end of the season. That says a lot, in my opinion. And I like Mitchell Evans. He reminded me a little bit of Pat Freiermuth, was the comp that I had for him. And if that ends up being even the ballpark range for Mitchell Evans to land as an NFL player, it's a pretty good player, man. Like, I'll take that all day. But I just think that we're still a dynamic tight end away. I hope that Mitchell comes in and he solidifies the position, and I hope that Tommy and Mitchell and JT can work out roles. I'd like to see some more 12 personnel with Tommy and Mitchell both on the field at the same time. And then I'd love to see JT become a red zone threat. So that would be how I look at the tight ends on this team.
I love everyone sleeping on Jatavion Sanders.
Talk about it. Curtis, talk about it, man.
Because his first year, he's done more than Tommy Tremble has done in 4 years in Carolina, and he was hurt. Guy lost his head in one of the games, if you watched, and then kind of went off to the sidelines once Thielen came back. But you guys keep sleeping on Sanders. He's one of my faves. If you've listened to our channel at all, I'm kind of done with the Tommy Tremble experience. I've seen 4 years of it. He hasn't done enough. They obviously clearly like him because he did get an extension. But I'm kind of hoping Mitchell Evans takes his spot because I really think Sanders can be pretty good in the pass game. I agree with Ricky. He's not that great in the blocking game, but I think Mitchell Evans could pair well with him in there in that role. And yeah, I've just every year I hear fans like, this is Tommy's year. This is Tommy's year. It was the same thing with 80. That guy doesn't even get a name anymore. But it's that continual thing of this hoping this guy's going to come around. Tommy Tremble has eclipsed 230 plus yards in a season yet. Like, that's what we're talking. Or he had 234 last year. I'm sorry. But you can only hope and hope so much. So I really like JT. I thought he showed flashes. I think he's had some solid plays. He's had some bonehead plays too, like in the blocking game. He's not terribly great, or he's not really great in the yards after catch. I mean, he had that one where he leaped a guy. That was maybe one of the memorable ones where he made some yards after the catch. But the guy can, when it's thrown his way, I mean, he's got a pretty damn big radius, and he's made some good spectacular catches this past year. So I think he's got a higher ceiling, honestly, than Tremble. Personally, I don't know a whole hell of a lot about Mitchell Evans, but from what I've heard online, I do hope he offers a little bit more than what Tremble does, because I'm not a big fan at all.
Man, look, 82.
Shout out to Curtis, man, because JT, as of last year, when he coming out of the draft, he was one of my favorite tight ends. I literally had him graded
I
as
was
the
a big
second
fan
best.
of him.
The second best tight end behind Brock
Brock Byers. Brock Byers.
Whatever his name is, man. And JT has shown that, man. We're talking about a guy that literally was on his way to a 100-yard game in that KC game before he got hurt in that first half, man. He was balling, but that's not just the only game that he showed flash. JT Sanders, he's got the mentality down already, man. He's talking his, I ain't gonna cuss, he's talking his whatever. You know what I'm saying? He's got that dog mentality that Dan Morgan is always, you know what I'm saying, emphasizing on with his press conferences. JT Sanders, he can take the rock, he can run out the catch, you know what I'm saying? He can lower his shoulder. He's literally got everything in his bag. And I honestly, as far as blocking, I know a lot of people criticize his blocking. I think it's solid enough. At least looking at a little bit of the film with JT Sanders, and I do plan on doing a film breakdown on him on the channel a little bit later in the summer. I think his blocking is actually solid enough for what he is, man. And moving on to Tommy Tremble, I see you getting a lot of slander, man. I don't know, like not even just me being a fan of Tremble. I like the flash that Tommy Tremble has. Like, we're not getting the 500 yards. We're not getting the flashy numbers and stuff from him, but I see the flash. I don't like that he tries that hurdle every time he get the ball. He tried to hurdle a defender even when it don't make sense. But he still has, I think, for what his role is which is like a secondary receiving tight end, I think he's pretty solid, and I can see why the Panthers extended him. Because with him and JT Sanders, I think Tommy Tremble can actually, come into his own, and maybe he can take a leap. But I'm not looking for like him to be that guy. You know what I mean? He can just play his role, do your job, catch a couple, the play action, take the ball up the field, man. Chip, what's it, nickel and dime? Is it nickel and dime?
Nickel and dime down
nickel
the field.
And dime, get up the field type of tight end, 5 yards here, 5 yards there, maybe a 10-yarder. I think Tommy Tremble is solid in his offense, man. Now, as far as the new tight end, I'm not even gonna hold you. I don't know anything about this tight end. But if he's as good as everybody's talking about, then hell, Tommy Tremble just gonna have to step up, or hell, he's gonna get his spot taken, man. And I'm looking forward to the tight end battle overall, and I'm looking forward to getting to know this new tight end, man. But I think Tommy Tremble, I'm gonna give him a little bit more credit, man. I see the potential with him, but I'm gonna be honest, man. That's all it is. It's potential. It's potential. So we'll see with Tommy Tremble. I think this year is really gonna show us who he truly is. Hopefully he has a full healthy season. I know last season he was battling some injuries, but hopefully with a full healthy season, we can see what he can be. Him and JT Sanders. Hopefully they can take over as that new tight end duo, or maybe the new guy can come in and help out, man. Like Curtis was saying with him and JT.
Yes, sir. And then shout out, we got another content creator. I'm definitely gonna pull both his comments up. What up, Lo, from the pregame show?
What up, Lo?
What's going on, man?
I'm gonna put this comment up without laughing. Curtis and Ricky not cussing either. This should be issue.
We already messed up. I didn't know.
I didn't know. I didn't know. I'm sorry.
No, y'all were look. I just don't do it. But when you come on this, like I said, I want to make y'all feel at home. It ain't no stipulations. I just try to control it.
I swear like a sailor. I'm sorry.
Me too, man. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
But I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this nugget out because we will do the calendar at the end. Lo will be joining What's Up Though for a collab in June.
Nice.
So stay tuned. We have a date. Again, like I said, we're gonna get as many content creators, voices of the Panthers over here as much as possible in 2025. And there's a bigger project that we're trying to do later in the season. So again, I appreciate everyone that has came on the show already. I appreciate Panthers on Tap joining tonight and the ones that are coming in the future. So again, support all these content creators. It's a lot of love that can be spread across the platform on X and Twitter.
Yeah, Lo is awesome, man. That's a great get. I look forward to watching that show with you guys. He's one of my favorites as well in the space. The last thing I'll say about JT, because Quan, you make some good points, man. I like JT as well. My questions with him have always been about his lateral and explosive agility and athleticism. Because when I evaluated him coming out of Texas, that was kind of my question for him too, right? He was bigger and stronger than a lot of the guys that he played against at Texas, and he would bust the seams, and he had a great catch radius. But in the league, and where I see the blocking, because you talked about it being a decent enough blocker, I do think that he has the frame and the movement skills to be a good move blocker in line, and when he's trying to move up and down right? If he's not just being used in like a B or C gap as a move blocker, I think that he gets himself in a little bit of trouble not having the quickest of feet. He's got a little bit of heavy feet moving laterally, but I do agree with you, man, that I think that he's got more potential as a receiving tight end than Tommy Tremble.
We're selling him, Quan. We're selling him.
You guys are trying. Hey, I'll give you credit. You're trying really hard. And maybe it's that I'm hearing this from Quan instead of Curtis, because I take everything Curtis says about tight ends with a little grain of salt, because he won't even call one of our tight ends by his name. He kept calling him his number for the longest time. He gets upset.
He was a bum.
See, look at him. I'm going to get Curtis cursing again if I'm not careful.
No, y'all good. So look, while y'all were talking, I was going to say, I know Ricky and Curtis are big Hurricane fans. I was looking up. We're in the third period, just kicked off. And before I was about to say something, I was about to say, boy, that was scary right there. But Anderson got the puck. Hopefully it's not a penalty, but it is 1-1. If we do score, meaning the Canes, I definitely will let the audience know, and I definitely will let Ricky and Curtis know that too as well.
Show you, I got my lucky Charlotte Checkers Pilsner. It's
well,
called
you need to
Puck
pop
Off.
it open.
This is called the Puck Off Pilsner. The Checkers are also in the third round. The Checkers are also in the third round, starting off on Friday. So Puck Off is the Checkers.
I like that, man.
All right, so this one right here is offensive line. I'm not going to be deep. We're not going to go long. If somebody wants to prolong it, shout out to Dan Morgan, Brent Tillis bringing this whole unit back together. Me, I put 100. I think Ricky put 90, and I think Curtis agreed. This offensive line being brought back together, the band's back in town. I love it. There's nothing to be worried about. You have your depth pieces. Everybody's been working with the coaches. The only thing I should see is improvement. I think health-wise, and I will pull the slide down, I think Damian Lewis will be back healthy. I do know he did have that almost kind of sort of Tommy John injury if you played baseball. Hopefully he's fully back healthy. We do bring Austin Corbett back. That does bring competition in that room with Cade Mays and Corbett being at the center position. But for me, I think this room is the strongest room right now, but I think there's another room that can be the strongest. For me, that's it. I'm not going to be long with them because, again, I'm not worried about our offensive line.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I think this is definitely our strongest group, especially with everybody coming back together, man. You already got that continuity built up. So this is definitely a group they're all in sync. And, I mean, for them to be in a second year together, I'm extremely confident in this group. As long as everybody stays healthy, man, we're going to be just fine. And I think they're definitely going to open up a lot of lanes for these running backs, man. They're going to make it easy for Bryce. They're going to make it easy for these running backs. And, I mean, hell, speaking of Bryce, man, we saw the night and day difference. We saw the huge turnaround where Bryce was able to buy more time in the pocket because of this unit right here, man. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of this offensive line. I hope everybody stays healthy all year, man.
Yes, sir. Fellas, y'all got anything? Ricky or Curtis?
Yeah, I like that. Continuity, familiarity, communication. Those are the three biggest parts of offensive line play. And I think that they're building that here in Carolina. My biggest question mark will actually surprise some people. It's I hope that Taylor Moton can stay healthy and keep his knee intact. That's my biggest question mark, because if that doesn't exist, then I think you have a significant hole to fill without a proven answer behind him. And we joked around about this, or toyed around with the idea a little bit during the pre-draft period, that if they were to find, I thought that they liked Armand Membu a lot, right? And come to find out, they did like him a good bit. But I always thought that it would be an interesting thing if they were to have taken him and then say, hey, look, he could be our right tackle of the future, right? Like we don't. I think that with them exploring the tackle position as much as they did in that pre-draft period, lets you know that they have some question marks about Taylor Moton and his future. Letting him play out this year on that contract and eating that giant cap hit, as opposed to extending him and reworking that deal and affording yourself some room where you could have even maybe kept a veteran player like Jadeveon Clowney on the roster. I don't know. That's a crazy idea, but I think that there are just other ways to do it. But if they're healthy, man, love this unit. I have full confidence in them.
Yeah, Ricky stole my thunder here. I think this is the Taylor Moton farewell tour this year, to be totally honest with you.
Facts.
As much as I hate that, because I think he's one of the most underrated players on this team and doesn't get enough credit for what he's done on that right side. And for the amount of questions they had with that position and flirted with the tackle. I mean, it might sound crazy, but if Membo was there at 8, he might have been the pick if he would have fell past the Jets. I mean, that's how it sounded. That's how serious they were in considering him. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's telling, and I think that concerns me a little bit. There's a little bit more that we don't know about Moton than what the front office and coaching staff does. So if Moton does go down, there's going to be some concerns. But I'm a big Brady Christensen guy. I've always been.
Go.
I like him. I know Ricky's not as much as a fan, but yeah, I love this room. Like, I think it's deep. I think it's one of the deepest rooms on this team, if not the deepest. I think I put 90% for this group. So,
correct.
Yeah, I feel very confident, and I love, the additions. Honestly, I think Damian Lewis was, for me at least, he has proved a lot more than I thought he was going to be for this team. He was kind of middle of the road in Seattle and had some issues with penalties and staying healthy. And I think with both him and Robert Hunt in that inside with Corbett or even Mays in there, I think they've done a really nice job. And they struck gold this past year. I mean, when there are teams trying to replicate what you did in free agency, you're doing something right. So,
yep,
correct.
They do need that center position to stay healthy. I mean, you just said the names. Corbett. If Corbett could stay healthy, then Corbett was a better player than Cade Mays. And Cade was serviceable, but Corbett was really good. And Corbett is a much better communicator. Corbett is revered for his intelligence as a player on the offensive line. That's why a lot of the beat reporters and stuff for this team had no issues with the transition to center, though he had never taken a snap at that position in the NFL before. So I think if he could be healthy, he's a glue piece that we didn't even have for most of last season when they were tremendous. And I like Brady Christensen. Come on, man. Don't make me sound like you always want to make me sound like I don't like someone. I just don't think
pull up the tape.
I think Brady Christensen is an interior. I think Brady Christensen is a really good interior lineman, and I think he's a good depth option on the offensive line. I don't see him as a starting tackle in the NFL. No, I will say that.
I agree, man. Definitely a good depth piece. Definitely.
Yep.
All right. So before we switch over, I'm gonna shout out again. Panthers on tap. We got Ricky, Curtis. Also, Bryson that's on there. Definitely appreciate you guys pulling up. We have almost 580 on 2 platforms tonight, man. Again, you guys could be doing anything else. I appreciate these gentlemen bringing this audience here and enjoying great Panther content. Like I said, the optimism is through the roof. And again, I cannot thank Curtis and Ricky joining us again tonight for a Blitz Talk episode on What's Up, Dub, man.
We got one of our viewers in here, Shannon Bass, who's been terrific the past few weeks, really involved. And she's trying to get Curtis to egg me on here to bring out the receipts. Man, Shannon, come on. I thought we were cool. You were on my side last night.
Hey, I got to give us a little credit. We're competing with the Canes sending the Caps home packing, and we got about 600 people listening.
Correct, almost 600, man. So I appreciate it again, man. Again, if you are not subscribed to What's Up, Dub, the Panthers Experience, my co-host right here on the right-hand side, and these 2 gentlemen down below. I did see a couple of people did sub up, but we need more people subbing up to Panthers on tap. Again, they need to get to 1,000 tonight, but if not tonight, before the season. And again, if you're not subscribed to What's Up, Doug, we definitely would love a sub up here as well, man. So
there's the answer to our question too, by the way, Curtis. Shannon, my bad. Had no idea. Hey, look. When you don't have a profile picture and it just says Shannon, I mean, I call me a fool, but I assumed. But
the last name should have sold at Bass right there.
What do you mean? Women can't have the last name Bass? This is turning into a crazy show now, Curtis. What are you doing here? What? They can't have the last name Bass?
Oh, man. Look, I just told you, Ricky, I wanted y'all at home. This is just a different logo.
Hey, you want me at home? I'm about to say earmuffs because I'm about to tell Curtis something about himself.
All right, so we're going to switch over to defense. We got 4 slides, and then we're going to get you guys out of here. So first up is D-line. We got our doll back in the middle in DB, man. Then you have Bobby Brown, Wharton, and Ashawn Robinson, a player I think people are forgetting that we still have on this roster due to the free agents that we brought in. So confidence level is at a 75. And the question that's on the slide, did Dan truly do enough to upgrade the D-line ability to stop the run, or nothing will come of these offseason signings. One thing again for these signings is stopping the run from the DBs all the way to the front four. They wanted to bring in people with great run stop percentage grades. Also in the draft, each player that we drafted had great run stop percentage grades. And for me, it just depends on the scheme, and it depends on the fit, and depends on the player. I do like what we brought in. I think we have a solid rotation, but it's unproven. Just like when we did the wide receivers, Ricky literally said, we have the people in the room, but they're just unproven. These are vets, but then the scheme and the player has to match up. So to me, it is unproven. So again, that's where this collaborative confidence level came to a 75. So I'm gonna hand it out to the gentleman on the panel and see what they say. But for me, I'm okay with the 75. That does not mean I don't believe in this room. I just have to see it to believe it. And with this defense, these numbers are going to be very low because, number one, we don't trust the scheme right now. Evero did not have the help, but now he has the pieces. So can the pieces and the scheme match up? That's for me.
Yeah, I'll be honest. This is a spoiler alert for the rest of the show. It's going to be a lot of negative from here on out on the defensive side for me.
Correct.
The highest confidence level I gave was 70. So, and that's with this group, and I'm across the board a lot. So, yeah, I mean, I'm okay with what they added. I wanted Milton Williams 1,000%. It was like a dagger into the gut when he went to New England. I was very, very upset. But I do think they added pieces. I think they added some fresh guys in here that are going to add some, depth to a very depleted defensive line that was literally pulling guys off the street to come in and play. So I appreciate that they added to that room and they made it an emphasis. But, I mean, there is still some questions. I mean, we're talking about a guy that they paid handsomely in Wharton, who was only making $2-3 million on the Kansas City Chiefs as a rotational guy who was playing alongside, Chris Jones, one of the best, defensive linemen in the entire NFL. So, he was kind of playing cleanup work with that. We call him maybe the janitor of the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Ricky with his references. He loves references. That was my best shot, Ricky. That's all you're going to get out of me.
I'm just glad you took the shot,
But no, I do think they're going to be better at stopping the run. I think Derek Brown coming back is going to be huge. I talked about this last night, though. Like, I don't think we can just expect Derek Brown to come back pre-injury right away. Like, I think it's going to take some time. We can't just he might never get back to what he did before his injury, that the year he got his big contract. We don't know that. That's not a guarantee. And I think a lot of folks expect that. And I hope we get to that range. But, it's going to take some time. And he's going to have to shake off the cobwebs and get back into game fit and in the practice even in that. So I do think they added pieces and they took, the struggles they had last year seriously with some of the signings they did and even in the draft class. But there's still some question marks, and it's tough to say how big of an impact really, the guys of Bobby Brown and Wharton really had on those rosters. And let's see what they actually do when they're thrown into the fire and they're starting majority of the season and how well they do. So that's where my concern is. And kind of like Doug said, it's a lot of unknown. We really don't know with these guys, but that's where I'm at.
Playing with new players, new teammates, is always going to be an adjustment and acclimation period. Always. Especially for a defensive system in Evero's that is not a simple one. There is intricacies. There's nuance. It's gap and a half run defense. There are certain things that you're going to ask the fronts, the defensive fronts that they deploy in nickel. They play a lot of flex front, so they've got some freedom on where their edges, their ends can line up on the defensive front, as opposed to just being told what to do. I think that once they get used to each other, what I love the most about the way that they built this defensive front is that there's intentionality behind it. They grabbed an interior pressure presence in Turk Wharton, and I understand that he's not Milton Williams, but when you look at what his task is going to be, it's going to be very reminiscent of what Milton Williams' task would have been. Where he does not excel is very similar to where Milton Williams does not excel as a run defender. I think that Turk Wharton actually has shown more individual flashes of being a competent run defender. He doesn't have the greatest size for gap and a half, but then you bring in a guy like Bobby Brown. Bobby Brown, man, look, this was my favorite signing on the defensive front. And I've said this multiple times on tap. This is my favorite one, man. I think that Bobby Brown is a really good football player. I think that he's got some untapped potential. And you know, Curtis talked about Turk playing next to Chris Jones. And that, you know, Curtis is a little bit gun shy to say that Bobby or Derek Brown's going to come back and do the right thing. Well, Bobby got to kind of help and usher in Jared Verse and Braden Fisk. Those were two rookies last year. And just because they're very good football players doesn't mean that there's not a rookie acclimation period. Bobby Brown kind of took that pressure off when he is this stalwart in the middle, the interior of that line, who also can kick out to 3 and 5 tech if he need be and run these jumbo packages. I mean, think about what they could put out on this line, fellas.
Yes.
They could throw Derek Brown, Bobby Brown, and Ashawn Robinson out
And
there
Cam
together.
Jackson. And Cam Jackson.
And Cam Jackson, for crying out loud. I mean, just think about that. I would like to see, now that Cam Jackson's wearing 55, I'd like to see him lined up off ball like Dan Morgan. Throw a visor on him and let him stalk. Like, let him be the quarterback spy.
Give him the neck roll.
Yeah, put the neck roll on him, dude,
Oh,
and let him stand behind Bobby Brown and Derek Brown and just intimidate the ever-living hell out of, you know, if it's Michael Penix Jr., he's going to turn into Desmond Ridder real quicker than he's already on that trajectory. Sorry, everyone else has already given them hell today, so I wanted to join in on the fun. But no, I think that there's intentionality. I think what they did here, they signed run stoppers, and that was the main thing that they wanted to shore up. I think they were embarrassed by how much they were gouged on the run last year. And I think that Evero has always maintained that having a true nose tackle isn't the most important thing for a system. I think that that's a lie. I think that they had Marquand McCall. Something happened with that, whether it was injury or not. They pivoted off of it, and that's when they started this whole, you don't need a nose tackle to do this. We have Shy Tuttle. He's going to be our nose tackle.
Turtle.
Hey, Shy Tuttle.
It's Shy Turtle.
I feel bad for Shy a little bit, to be completely candid here. They're asking him to do something he has no business doing, right? That would be like if somebody came up to me and was like, hey, look, we're going to give you $80,000 to go and be a Calvin Klein's underwear model. I'd be like, well, look, guys, like, I can do it. Physically, I'm capable of wearing underwear, but nobody's going to have a good time watching that. Like, so I just don't think that that's fair to throw it all on Shy, because they're asking him to do something he has no business doing, at least not in public. You know what
Rick,
I mean?
you about to be muted.
Hey, no, by all means, do it, man.
I don't give that man no excuses. That's why Quan's laughing, I know.
No, they're laughing because I'm an idiot and I make a fool out of
you're
myself
not an
constantly.
idiot.
I've heard Doug is a Tuttle guy.
No, I'm not.
I'm surprised you don't call him 90, Doug.
His name is Shy Turtle.
Or 99.
He is Turtle. I don't give him. Quan, do you have a comment, or did you already speak?
Go to Quan. I'm out. I'm done.
No, because I can really say something, and I'm not trying to. I'm trying to be respectful.
Nah, Ricky. Ricky got me weak over here with the Calvin Klein reference. Man. Oh my God, bro. But man, I agree. Shot total.
Turtle.
Him to
it's Turtle. Turtle.
Number 99.
Out, man.
Number 99 was asked to do a lot. To be honest, even when we signed him, I didn't see him as a starter. I was like, okay, this is a nice little depth piece. He came in and he started right away. Like it just didn't work out for him, man. But overall, first of all, can we take a moment to like really appreciate these slides that Doug put together, man?
Yeah,
these slides like top tier. This look like some professional shit right now. Excuse my language, but besides that,
I
man,
feel comfortable now. Appreciate you, folks.
Look, man. Overall, with this D line though, my concerns is at D end, like or the edge rushers. Like we got new rushers. I know everybody like Nick, everybody like Princely, but they're new guys. Like we just pointed out. This is not an easy scheme to learn, man. Evero's little 3-4 scheme is a tough scheme to learn. It might take more than just 1 year to learn. So that's my concern with the new guys at the edge spots. And I just don't think we have enough firepower on the outside to really seal the edge. So that's just my opinion. I mean, yeah, we got a nice depth piece in the interior. I do love what we did in the offseason and in the draft. So I'm pretty confident right there, man. But as far as on the outside and like taking care of the edge and setting the edge and whatnot. I don't know. I just don't know. It's a big question mark right there for me. I'm gonna just go with my confidence level at like I'm gonna go 68%.
My bad, Quan, because your sister really got me rolling. I have to do this. My fiance is in the chat. And she just trolled. So let me be on my best behavior right now. Let me please be on my best behavior. She said, "Who really made the slides?" And that again, like I said, I appreciate her pulling up in the chat, writing the comments, definitely supporting us tonight, man.
Quan brought up a good point though about the shy thing, about like when they signed him, he thought that would be like a nice depth piece, right? Yeah, that's almost a little bit of what my concern is with some of these other players, though, like the Pat Jones. Even DJ Wanham to an extent, right? You talk about the edge setting. I think that these guys are pretty good rotational players, but I think that the want for this coaching staff in front office is that they want them to be the starters and the main players, right? Like the key additions to those positions. And then you bring in the rookies. And look, I'm very high on the rookies. I like both of them a lot. I was a huge Nick Scorton guy pre-draft. That's something.
We're going through it. Ricky, go ahead. I'll pull the slide up. Keep talking.
Oh, am I before this?
No,
look,
it's right here. Go ahead.
About the defensive line.
Go ahead, talk. Go ahead. Roll with it.
My bad. I'm ahead of myself.
Ricky, go ahead.
Quan said one curse word and just got me all comfortable. So now I'm just rolling with it. I'm freestyling. But no, look, the rookies, man, I really do. I like them a lot. But Nick Scorton, as much as I like him, he's 20 years old. And he had a little bit of an adjustment at Texas A&M to what they wanted him to do, as opposed to Purdue. There's been talk about the weight. How does he play? Princely Umealinen, I think, is better suited as a designated pass rusher at this current stage until he gets that edge setting ability kind of nailed down, hammered out. And so then you're relying on Pat Jones and DJ Wanham. I like DJ Wanham. DJ Wanham has never been more than a complimentary player in his career. Pat Jones has never been more than a depth player in his career. And then you've got a 20-year-old and a DPR are your backups, because you got rid of the 11-year NFL veteran who has been productive at every place that he's gone. Whether he's been elite or not, that's not my debate, right? But he's been productive, and guys can learn how to play NFL edge from that player. We're an injury away from guys playing more snaps than they probably need to be playing right now, and that makes me a little bit nervous.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Your featured piece on that edge group is DJ Wanham, a guy who's has battled injury and has never been the featured piece. And we talked about this yesterday. I think it was an unnecessary move to get rid of Clowney. And I think we put in these. Did we put these grades or this confidence level in before Clowney got cut?
We had Clowney on the original.
No. I put it in before, and then I asked you guys. You guys just sent them. So this is the new one.
Oh, it is.
Okay. This is the new confidence level. Yeah, this is all new.
So I think I put this group at 65%.
Correct.
The edge rusher.
Yep.
Correct.
And like Ricky said, I think rookies. I have faith in Scorton just based off of Ricky's evaluation. I value, his perspective, because he looked a lot, took a lot of time with a lot of these prospects and went through them. And I didn't watch a whole hell of a lot of Scorton. So I do, have some confidence there in just Ricky's evaluation. But these guys are young. They're so young. And I think they didn't need to be thrown into the fire as early as they're going to be. And like Ricky said, you are an injury away from them being forced to play almost every down or every play. And I think Princely to start is a situational type player who they're going to, hope can, he's got some speed off the edge, and he is quick. He really is quick. But it's a guy you could throw in situationally now might be forced to play more than he probably should early on. So I think they Panthers tend to make moves, and we talked about this, where they make moves they don't have to make. And I don't understand it, because this edge room was lack depth. And I saw on Twitter at points in the last week or so since the Clowney cut that this room was overcrowded. And I think that's laughable, because we're talking about DJ Johnson and Barno, who should not be on an NFL roster at all. So Yeah, this room, I mean, they're doing things with it that's definitely interesting, and we're gonna see what happens when we come week 5 and who's actually starting in these roles. So,
And right here, hold on real quick. Let's shout out Shannon Bass. That's one of you guys supported at Panthers on Tap. I appreciate
Awesome
the
dude.
super chat.
Awesome guy.
Here's my issue with the Panthers we drafted and brought in during free agency. If Evero gets bounced next year, what do we do with these 3-4 type guys? And I will go first. I told Quan, and you guys can pull the tape. I said we need to bring in guys that are 3-4 defense. With Dave Canales being the head coach, we're going to run a 3-4, it sounds like, regardless. He likes 3-4 over 4-3. I wanted guys that can run a 3-4 regardless who's the DC. A name that I like, and I probably am going to say the wrong initials. Is it AC Carter that came from the Rams? Is that his name? Is that
Yep.
I think if Evero is fired mid-season, I don't want him because I want a great defense. But if he goes into a head coaching position, I think you either have Cooley or you have AC Carter be your defensive coordinator. And it's a 3-4. You have those gentlemen that can run a 3-4 fit. You bring in players that you just brought in that can run a 3-4 fit. And I think we're good to go. That's one thing that I think people forget. When we had that all defensive draft, those are not true 3-4 players. They were 4-3 players and a multiple type defensive scheme players that we brought in when Derek Brown got drafted along with the Jeremy Chins and everybody. Those are not true 3-4. So when you look at it, we actually had to rebuild this defense in the right way to have people that fit a 3-4 that can actually play the scheme and not just be on the field. For instance, a Shy Turtle that is not a true nose. So again, appreciate the super chat, Shannon.
Yeah. When I'm evaluating, I'll tell you the way that I've been looking at it recently. I'm looking more at technique. Where are they going to play? What's the role?
Yeah.
Than I am looking at what system, because a lot of modern defense is not, you're not playing at a base formation more than what, 30% of your downs, 30% of sets. Like, I mean, honestly, we're in so many sub packages and exotic looks. You've got 2 down, you've got 4 down a lot. It honestly just depends on what the technique and what role you're tasking them with. So I think that when you look at some of these players, their scheme versatile. I don't think that they're going to be pigeonholed by a 3-4. I think that when you look at Nick Scorton as a good example, right? I think he profiles terrifically as a outside rush backer, but I also think that if he had to put his hand in the dirt and play as a 4-3 end, he can do that. I think that he's got the length and the power profile to do it. But yeah, I think you hit it on the head, though. I think that Dave Canales likes a 3-4 base. I think he likes the Evero type of system. I think that he likes playing downhill, which is essentially what a Fangio system is. I don't think he would veer too far from that. I think that you would see a relatively similar principle system.
Correct. All right, so I'm gonna have passing out the Quan, but Quan, no, this is the position I coached whenever I was at Arkansas State. So corners, y'all know I love JC Horn, man. Got him signed right behind me, man. That's what he has that lockdown. We have a true number 1 lockdown corner in Carolina again. The last that we had was a Josh Norman. One thing that I did not like is I think I saw a stat on Twitter that he wasn't even in the top 10 of corners in the league. And I said, okay, I'm fine with that. And again, I understand the reason why JC was because of this defense as a whole. But the question I have for the panel and for Panther Nation is, with the additions on the D-line and safety room, can our cornerbacks be more productive? And there's one corner in particular that I'm saying, and that is Mike Jackson. I think a lot of people were very excited with Mike Jackson. I think a lot of people like that we got him really for cheap when we traded away the linebacker from Michigan and then we brought him back in. But for me, I think with the safety help, and I do think he needs a safety over the top, I do think Mike Jackson will be better. One thing I've stated, and I think I said this in you guys live, where you guys were talking about the team, communication is important on the back end. And again, when you saw it many of times, there was communication problems from the safeties and corners. You're looking at each other like, why aren't you here? Or how did this happen? And one thing I will say that I learned in college, your back end is more viable than the front 4. because regardless if it's a run or pass, you still have to communicate because you have that smart intellect DB back there. So for me, I think corners, and I forgot the grade that I gave it. I think I gave it a 70. That's here nor there. Again, I think JC is going to have a great year. I think Mike Jackson will have a better year, but again, it really depends on Morick, Ransom. I want to do it, but he's not a Panther yet. But there's a player's name that's on the tip of my tongue, and I really think he's going to become a Panther. It's just, when are you going to sign the dotted line? But again, I think
Blackman?
our corner, who?
Blackman?
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. He has not signed yet, and he hasn't signed with anybody else. I really think it's going to happen, but I'm just ready for it to happen. But I'm not worried about this room. But I do think a JC Horn injury that does not need to happen, then this room is just shot.
Shit, this room looks disgusting. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
This shit looks
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at it like this. JC, dog, right? But he got, you know what I'm saying? Let's be real. We done had injuries every single year he's been in the league. We need depth. And let's be real, Mike Jackson, we so mediocre that our fans are like, you know what? All right, he have decent. He might be decent. No, Mike Jackson's all right. He's depth piece. Depth piece. He's supposed to be depth piece. This is something we talked about before. Somebody ain't got no business starting. It is what it is, man. Our depth is so bad that he has to be CB2. I know a lot of y'all is probably like, yo, why are you looking puzzled right now? I'm looking at the names that Doug put. I had to pause the live. I got the live put up on my phone. I had to pause this and look at the
I'll
names.
put it back up.
I have no idea who Shamir is. I don't know who MJ, whoever the hell that is.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know who
They just picked him up. They just signed him. Yeah.
I know.
Oh, let's go.
Who?
I'm sorry.
They scored.
Yeah, we just scored.
Canes just scored.
Hey, shout out to the Canes, man.
Let's go.
Sir.
And we got 2 minutes, man. Let's
Hell
go.
yeah, let's go, Canes. Pull it out, man. Pull it out. But I'm not confident in this room at all. At all.
Okay,
I'm
so
probably
Quan,
at like a 12% confidence level with this.
On a scale of 1 to 100, what would you give it? What would you give it?
You said what?
On a scale of 1 to 100, what would you give it?
Like confidence level or just
Yes.
like
Yeah,
how?
that's a confidence level. Scale
Man,
of 1 to 100.
out of 100, I'm giving it 12, man. We at 12%. I don't like I don't like this room at all. I'm nervous about this cornerback room. I talked about it a little bit on the live last night that I did. We need more corner depth, man. We just do. I don't see Mike Jackson as a starter. I mean, he did solid. I'm not taking away his talent, man. He is solid enough, but like I don't think he should be CB2. Like this is fucking my bad. This is disgusting, man.
No,
Yeah.
Quan almost did what I did because
This
I
ain't
was
it.
right earlier, man.
Do y'all see y'all division? Oh my God, we got Drake London.
We're rubbing off
over there
on
on the
them. I
ride.
love it.
Okay, so
got
hold
Mike
on. Let me
Evans.
ask this question, Quan.
Oh my God.
Do you believe? And we got a couple of super chats. I'm gonna get to them after I make this comment and get to you. Do you believe that if the front four, because again, we've had trash DBs rooms before, and we had great front four. When we had KK Short and Starla Tulaway, who else was the edge there? I just forgot the edge that we had when they were there. Can you name me at least 2 DBs that played for Carolina then?
Talking about back in 2015?
No, just go when they came in as rookies. Can you at least name
We had
me 2
Benet
DBs?
Benwickery. We had
Okay.
J-No. And, yeah, we had a couple of them, man.
So again, look at that room. Was that room starstruck? Was that room?
I'd
very
rather
good?
have that than this.
So you're telling me Ben Wickery was okay?
I would call Benet. I call Benet Benwickery
Same
today and ask
thing,
him
bro.
what he's up
Same
to.
exact thing. He was mediocre, man.
Okay,
Mediocre.
correct. But what happened though? Because again, your front four was so dominant. I understand that was a 4-3 or a 3-4, but again, it's so unproven that I do think that with the front 7 being dominant, that I think they can do. I think it's going to help that back 4.
I don't know, Doug. I don't think it's gonna be enough, bro. Like I'm looking at the receivers in our division. I just don't think it's enough. And then again, the edge spots, like we still
It's very
it's
questionable.
new. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know yet. It's subject to change. But the corners, hell, if we're talking about Benet Benwickery, where is he now? Like, is he on anybody's roster? Like, I don't know.
He's not. He's out the league. He's out
Yeah,
the league.
like I
But
don't
is he
know,
still
man.
working
I
out?
don't
Can
know.
we find out how he is? Like, what's his
Well,
conditioning
do
level?
y'all want
Like,
I hope he's
Corn
doing all right.
Elder's playing for
Just
the
let you
UFL.
know.
Corn Elder's playing for the UFL right now in Birmingham.
Okay, he got a spot somewhere.
So
Birmingham
Yes.
Panthers, man, they got like 14 of our players out there on that roster.
For real?
yep. Yeah, they
got a
do
ton
for
of
real, for real.
players. Yeah.
They do.
That's what's up.
Hey,
I'm
hold
glad
on real
they
quick.
still doing something though, man. Getting paid.
Hey, shout out the rap star report. That's Clay, man. Clay, I definitely
Hey,
appreciate
Clay,
you
man.
pouring up tonight, giving them that $5 super sticker. And Mr. Honky Dory gave 10 more memberships. Again, if I'm not mistaken, that is 35 memberships that were given out tonight just to the chat tonight, man. Again, if you got a membership, definitely shout out Mr. Honky Dory. Tell him you appreciate him in the chat, man. Again, I appreciate you and Quan giving out these Dougie Effect memberships to Panther Nation, man. And I'm gonna give this Eternal. I don't know if Ricky or Curtis want to talk because Quan definitely gave a eulogy, but Eternal's loving it. Quan, he definitely said facts. Quan, he was
Man,
like,
Eternal,
Quan.
bro,
So,
I've been trying to get you a membership for the longest, man. It just, like it's automatic. So whenever I buy a gifted membership, it's random. So I've been trying to get you in for the longest, man. We're gonna get you a membership, man.
I think that Quan is speaking very logically. And honestly, I think he's making as much sense as anything in this entire episode. And this episode has been fantastic, full of great points. But this defensive back room, this cornerback room particularly, outside of JC Horn, I don't have the confidence level at all in. And that includes Mike Jackson, who did an admirable job coming in and playing cornerback 2 after being traded for a guy that didn't even make the roster for his former defensive coordinator. Like that, he did a terrific job, but he is extremely limited to what he can do. And it's beneficial that he can execute a cover 3 zone heavy system. That is his wheelhouse, right? But even then, he has limitations, and they're athletic limitations. They talk about, all of our fans talk about they want JC Horn to roam and to follow and to be able to shadow the top receiver for an opponent. And when the defensive coaches were asked about that last season, and the front office, when they were asked about it, they had to say, look, there's some limitations on the roster as a whole from a holistic standpoint that makes it very problematic. If we start switching his responsibilities around, we're asking other people to switch theirs, and they didn't feel they had the personnel to do that. That's the same personnel in this cornerback room that is back this season. It's the same personnel. They did not add to it outside of MJ Devonshire, a former 6th round or 7th round pick out of Pittsburgh last year, who got cut and was signed off of the waiver wire this year. Like he's only been on this roster for about 3 weeks, 2.5. And we'll find out if he even makes the 53. You remember all the churn at the bottom of that cornerback room on the roster last year? That's how we ended up with Shamar Bartholomew, the prized gem of the waiver wire last year that everyone was like, man, this guy, yeah, he's got it. Look at him. Like, great measurables, great athleticism. He's going to do it. You know what he did? He sat on the bench. He didn't play football for us. He played special teams. A Caleb Evans, I'm okay if he doesn't play. Like, I don't really want to go down that road, man. Like, and then Shaw Smith-Wade is the big question mark for me. If Shaw can really put it together at the nickel, then I feel a little bit better, because I think that the nickel position is so pivotal right now in the NFL. And I think that it makes such a difference with the way that offenses are attacking zone defenses and attacking that intermediate range, that a guy like Shaw, if he can put it together and he could be a really good quality nickel corner, then I feel a little bit better. But my hesitation with that is that he hasn't done that before. Outside of the Senior Bowl, he was a specifically boundary corner at Washington State.
Correct.
And when he had a couple of nice reps at the Senior Bowl and his size pigeonholed him into the inside, we're giving that a shot. But he also only got that once Dane Jackson crapped the bed at that position. Like, he didn't even beat out, as much as we hated Dane Jackson last year, Shaw Smith-Wade did not beat out Dane Jackson for the nickel spot. That was not the case. Dane Jackson got that spot after injury. They gave it back to him. Yeah. I don't think that speaks to a really high level of confidence, and I don't blame them for it. I hope that Shaw proves me wrong. I don't hate Shaw. I know that Bryson is probably sitting here, first of all, losing his mind for this Canes game, but he's also probably hearing me talk about Shaw Smith-Wade. And he's like, why do you hate Shaw Smith-Wade so much? He always says it to me. I don't hate Shaw. I just don't have this blind confidence because of the fact that he was a 5th-round pick that people like. I think that if he were a guy who had that kind of pedigree, he would have been a 3rd-round pick as a nickel. The best nickels go in the 3rd round, right? Like Mikey Samer still went in the 2nd, and he played like 1,600 snaps or over 1,000 snaps last year, and he was a difference maker. There was 3 rounds of talent between the two of them, man. And it's tough for me. And the Panthers also targeted Mikey Samer still. They liked him a lot. That lets you know that they know their nickel position is weak, and they did not do anything to shore it up. So my confidence level for this cornerback room, I'd give him like I think, Doug, I told you 65 or something like that.
Yeah.
After Quan,
that's not bad.
Quan gave me his truth, man, I'm comfortable saying around 37 to 42.
Yeah, Quan convinced me to lower mine too.
Heck
I
yeah.
don't know why I don't know why I didn't have this group.
It might have been the emphatic curse that he started with. That's really what got me going, right? Shit. I was like, oh man, this sounds like the mayor from The Wire. I am in.
Yeah, he dropped an F-bomb in there too, I think. So
I caught it. It's playing on repeat in my head ever since. It's terrific.
But I will say this: I've never been that high on Mike Jackson, and I think the stats were great. You saw the pass breakups, but if you watched later in the season when these teams were going after Carolina cornerbacks, it was Mike Jackson that were going after, and these guys were getting chunk play after chunk play. So you can throw the pass breakups, the PFF numbers in there all you want. I was not sold on this guy, and I think Carolina is for what he did last year, and they give him a contract. But man, it's like that room. I mean, we're talking about. I got to go back to the Falcons bullshit. They run their mouths about Penix, but they were throwing against Caleb Farley, Bartholomew, and Caleb Evans. Like, what are we doing here? Those guys looked clueless out there, and those. JC goes down, that's one of your starters.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, that room's thin, man.
Bad news.
Hey, real quick, I know this is a hockey take I'm about to say. I don't know if you guys are watching. I think Ovechkin's going to retire. If you saw his face, I think this is it.
Yeah.
I honestly think
he's like pushing 50, right?
Yeah, I think that's it, man. If you saw it in
pushing
his face,
50.
Yeah, I thought he was tearing up.
What's the longevity of what's the highest
really
age of hockey players?
For a hockey player,
he's funny.
He's crazy. For hockey players, it's crazy for him to be that old. Like they usually got 40 to 45 weeks of a career. Like those guys would get banged up, man.
He's 39.
Yeah. He's 39. So see, look, he is. He's old, man. He's old as hell. He should go back and ride horses in Russia or whatever it is that he's going to do.
All right, so the last one we got is safeties, our last DBs. I put a dog by Travion Moore. I know Quan loves him some Travion Moore. I know Panthers on tap. They definitely like the signing as well. The Latham Ransom. You got Damani Richardson. Nick Scott, a backup. I did pause. I see Curtis smiling when I paused, but yeah, this room, I think people want to question and I don't know why I put 70. I should have put 65 because this room right here, I'll just say this. I don't agree with the 12 that Quan said with the DB, with the corners, but I really think our safety room is better than last year, even though we have lesser numbers because they were all trash. I mean, they were all trash. Like Xavier Woods, I'm so glad he's with the Tennessee Titans. So glad. I don't know if they'll see a winning record this year, and that's no shade or no pundit on them. But I think Lathan Ransom has grown on a lot of people. And shout out to the Panthers that put the graphic up when they showed that he can actually play the position of safety that we need. I think that helps as well because I think a lot of people are saying Travion Moore and Lathan Ransom are the same player. I think they have the same dog mentality, but I think Ransom can be what we need, which is that ball hawking safety. He doesn't have great interception numbers, but I think he can do it. But that's where I did say I do think we still have a signing out there ready for us to go ahead and just put pen to paper. But our DBs, all in all, I wanted to be optimistic with this team, but they are not really the strongest units on this team at all. I try to give a 70, but I am nervous because, again, we need our back four to be great. And if they're not great, this is not going to help our defense.
Yeah, Dan Morgan said it well. I think he was talking to Anish pre-draft, and they were asking about, what do you look for in certain positions for this defense? And he said, safety, you got to be knowledgeable as hell. And if you're not, you will not make it in this room, because that's what Evero's defense calls for, as much as how long he's going to last, or if he could get canned mid-season. But I think you do need guys that really are knowledgeable and know the position well and know his defense well. I think the biggest concern, and I've talked to Ricky about this, if the Panthers try to make Merrig the deep post safety, I think it's a mistake. And I know he's played both, but he played really well when he was in the box and can pop guys and kind of roam around at his own will. And that's why, for me, and I talked about this, the fourth round was the biggest question mark for me in the draft. Not only the running back pick and then also the safety pick, because I thought Ransom was very similar style to what Merrig did well. And if you're going to try to pair both of those guys together, that concerned me a little bit. Now I have seen the numbers come out, and I know Ricky kind of talked me off of a ledge too a little bit with Ransom. And, if you actually look at the numbers and watch him a little bit more, he can play that deep post safety.
Comfortable with it, yeah.
So that has made me a little more comfortable. And even seeing some of those little tiny 10-second videos on minicamp, I think he looked quicker to me than he initially did when from the first eye test. So I do have a little bit more confidence in that. But yeah, this room does concern me if that is the plan going in, because it is the unknown. It is a rookie. You took him in the fourth round. I do like Damani Richardson. I'm a big Damani Richardson guy. I think he's more of a spot starter. I don't know how confident I would be in him starting 17 games. But yeah, I mean, I think the play is to at least bring in Blackman. I think that would be a smart move, especially with the, Clowney cut. You have money to do it now. So we'll see. I think it's kind of a work in progress with this room. Like you said, Doug, I agree with you. I think this room last year was trash, but
it was beyond trash, man.
So the thing with Trayvon Merrig is that he was one of my favorite signings, and I really liked it. I think that the dog mentality, I think that the athleticism, I think the versatility that he has was so smart to bring here, because it was something that was lacking on the third level of our defense. But I think of it this way. If you go to Fresh Market, right, and you're trying to figure out like how to cook up the best dish that you can make, and you got it in your head, you're like, you know what, I'm going to make salmon tonight. And what do you need with salmon, right? You need a little bit of acidity, some sort of like lemon or citrus or something to cut it and go over the top of it. So you go and you get a lettuce or a lemon. You really want a lemon, right? So you go and you buy this lemon, and there's great ways to use a lemon, right? But then there's also ways that it's just sort of like, I mean, it could still work, but it doesn't really taste all that good. Like, it doesn't get the best flavor profile you can with the lemon. If you mix it with some dill and some garlic and some onion, that lemon is going to really shine. Like, it's going to do exactly what you want a lemon to do. But if you cover that salmon in chipotle seasoning and nutmeg, and then you pour lemon juice on it, you're still going to get the acidity. Sure, it still exists, but it kind of tastes like ass, right?
Yeah,
like, you don't want
terrible.
that. If you sign Trayvon Merrig to the deal that you signed him for to be your premier offseason free agent addition on the defense, play him at the best of his abilities. And I think what you should do is you should play him as the closer to the line box safety who can also rotate post snap. If he needs to play the back half, he can. Like, he's absolutely comfortable and capable of doing it, but that's not where he excels. If you're going to allocate that kind of money and investment in this player, play him where he gives you the best player he is. You're doing something wrong if you try to force him into something else because you couldn't work out the rest of your plan. You need to bite the bullet with Damani Richardson or Lathan Ransom, if that's the case that you want to go. I don't want you to bite the bullet with Nick Scott. I'd rather you find another bullet at another store and bring him in and bite that, because I don't want to see you do that. We saw you do that before, and you lied to us and said we had 3 starting safeties on the roster when we didn't even have one. Don't lie to us again like that. You got one now in Trayvon Merrig. You play him where he's supposed to be played, and then you take your chances with the other guys, and you figure that out. There gonna be some, interchangeability that they're gonna do here. That is obvious with the way that they've constructed this roster. But you cannot go and take an A player and turn him into a C so that you could get another C player on the field. You keep that A player and you let that A player shine, in my mind.
Hey, everybody preached on that topic right there, man. But the DBs, man. Real quick, shout out to SC Panther Boy 803. He asked about getting that membership back. I appreciate you coming back to the Dougie Effect, man. Yeah, man, like I said, I think honestly, our corner and safety position are our weakest position on this team. And it's more important than some of these positions because, again, like I think Quan said when he was talking about the corners, we can't forget what type of wide receivers we go against in the NFC South. And again, if that communication is not there, the play is not there, it's going to be a rinse and repeat. And that's not something that we can have with the favorable schedule that we have right now. With the offense humming, with the acquisitions that we brought in, the defense cannot have another fall through the cracks type of performance. You can't be giving up 35 points every game almost. You can't be giving up 200 yards rushing. You can't be not in the place that you need to be when it's coming to play recognition or figuring out your zones. I do think we need Blackman. I don't think we're done. I still am confident in our team as a whole. But if I'm being honest, our weakest link is our DBs because of depth, but also we don't have the right pieces right now. If a game started right now, I don't even know the word. I was about to say scared shitless. That's what I was about to say.
Doug, you did it.
got him.
You went the whole episode. You did it.
I'm being serious. Like Brian Thompson Jr. and Travis Hunter, if we had a game this Sunday, I would be scared for our DBs. And I'm being totally
Rick
honest.
can't blame me.
I will be totally honest. So for me, like I said, that's position by position, man. I enjoyed it. I appreciate Ricky and Curtis joining us tonight, man. Real quick, we do have a couple of announcements, and I'm gonna pull a slide up. Quan and I will do a schedule reaction over the weekend. I just got the 18th up there, but definitely stay tuned for that. We will be joining Keep Purring podcast on next Tuesday to do schedule analytics or analysts of breaking down the schedule. So definitely make sure you sub up to them as well. If I'm not mistaken, I know they're trying to get to 1K as well. They're like 13 or some type of way from getting there. So definitely sub up to them as well. And we will be over there as a guest to break down the schedule with them on next Tuesday. And then we will not be live the next 2 weeks. So definitely tap in. If Panthers on tap are live, definitely tap in to get them to that 1K again. If Uncle Quan is live, but we will not be live for the next 2 weeks. We're going to spend time with family. We'll be back with the fiance, and then she'll be back here. We have to go support a wedding and all this. But we will have 2 Growls Run Roar on June the 5th. That is our next panel of guests. And again, we will have the pregame show with Lowe on June the 12th, if I'm not mistaken. So again, I appreciate Panthers on Tap joining us tonight. It has been a pleasure. We have had close to almost 700 in the chat tonight. Again, I appreciate all the love. Again, if you're not subbed to What's Up, Doug, please sub. You can go back and look at all the collabs that we have had in 2025. If you're not following me on Twitter, definitely follow me on Twitter. Like I said, I'm going to text it in the group while Ricky and Curtis give their final thoughts. Again, I appreciate my co-host over here, Uncle Quan. Let me pull up the super chats and super stickers that we had, starting with Uncle Red. Quan gave away 20 memberships. Then Mike gave us a super sticker over here. Uncle Quan gave another 5 memberships. Then Shannon dropped a super sticker. The Rap Star game brought us a super sticker. And Mr. Honky Dory gave us 10 memberships. Then also SC Panther Boy came back and joined us. So I appreciate everybody for the love. Ricky and Curtis, go ahead and give us your final words, gentlemen.
Great show. Thank you very much for having us. I appreciate you guys. Uncle Quan, man, good to talk ball with you as well, man. Thank you very much for cursing and making me feel much better about my filthy mouth earlier in the show. I know Curtis doesn't care, but I do have a little bit more of a conscience. He's just an evil guy at his heart. You know, he's the Joker of our dynamic here. I'm kind of like the good guy looking over Gotham. 17-0, everybody. Don't forget that. Doug, thank you very much, man. Always appreciate you having me on, but especially having us on together as the Panthers on Tap show. You know, you mentioned earlier that, you know, it's easy to separate me and the Panthers on Tap guys because I've been on my own shows and stuff before. Yeah. But I was a giant fan of Panthers on Tap before. And when they approached me, man, like I am very happy to be a part of this team that I'm on. And I hope that everyone does tune into Panthers on Tap and watch us. We try our best to provide the best content, the most entertaining content, even if it's at the expense of ourselves. So you can buy Super Chat and make me take a shot like I'm some sort of dancing clown if you need me to. But you guys run a great show here, man. I hope that everybody hits that subscribe button, hits the bell so that you're notified when these two go live, man, because it's you don't want to miss it content. Thank you guys again for having us. You can follow me on Twitter. You see the bright neon light right here above my giant head at Ricky Bowbody and Panthers on Tap. Curtis, take us away, man.
Yeah, I just want to thank both Doug and Quan. Quan, it was a pleasure to meet you for the first time. My goal was to get everyone to swear on this show, and it worked. We got them when we turned them.
Nailed it.
So, no, but we do appreciate Doug. I know you reached out to us a couple weeks ago, and we started planning this, and I'm so glad we both got on here tonight to be a part of this because I had a heck of a time with all four of us here. And we'll definitely have to do this again and get you guys on our show as well because we all know training camp is not happening for all of us. And we're going to be feeding off of, 20-second, players running against air this summer. So,
the minute that show starts, we're saying curse words too. A lot of them.
So we got to do whatever we can to try to pump out content for folks that are listening. So I appreciate you guys. It's all love on our end. And like Ricky said, please subscribe. If you're a listener of ours, subscribe to Doug's channel, follow both of those guys on Twitter as well. I appreciate both of you for having us on, and we'll have to do it again.
Yes, sir. Real quick, my brother, Bo Carter, I appreciate you dropping that super sticker, man. Please go back and watch the replay. All three of these gym outside of me brought great content tonight, man. And again, I appreciate Panthers on Tap family and two of their hosts out of the three. And again, I shout out Bryce, even though he's not here. You guys do great content. Like I said, I've met some of you guys at training camp. So I hate we're not going to be there this year, but I had to bring you guys on as one of our collabs. But again, please get them to 1K. Again, they need to be at 1K before preseason training camp starts. These gentlemen do great work. And again, Curtis had the privilege of the Panthers flying him out to draft day, draft weekend. Got the pleasure of shaking Ted McMillan's hand. Able to see Chuba Hubbard, man. So again, somebody's recognizing Panthers on Tap. And if you're missing out, you need to definitely hit that subscribe button as well, man. So Quan, go ahead. What you got, man?
Hey, look, man, first of all, shout out to all 600 plus of you who pulled up tonight, man. It's been a fun show, and, man, y'all made this show a historical show, man. I appreciate each and every last one of y'all for pulling up to the chat, sharing your thoughts on the topics that we brought up, man. It's been real fun, especially interacting with the chat. It's always a good time, man. And look, man, the pleasure was all mine, man. Just sitting up here talking ball with you guys, man. This is what it's all about, man. All the content creators, coming together and just talking Panthers football, man. I really appreciate you, Curtis. Appreciate you, Ricky, man. It's been fun. We definitely got to do this again. I'm still blown away. I can't believe that I wasn't already subscribed to Panthers on Tap, but I'm definitely subscribed, man. We're going to get these guys to 1,000, man.
Facts.
So make sure y'all subscribe. If y'all are not subscribed to these guys, man, if we can put the link in the chat, go ahead and put the link in the chat, man. They got Twitter. They got YouTube. Make sure you show that love, man. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next time they go live. We will definitely, most definitely be pulling up to their channels, man. And it's definitely going to be unfiltered. So definitely make sure you don't miss that, man. Show that love. Doug, man, it's always a good time, man. Make sure y'all grab that membership if you haven't already. I'm trying my best to get every single body in membership, man, because you don't want to miss the perks that's coming with it, man. I'm telling y'all now, I'm not going to give up too much of the sauce. Y'all got a glimpse of it already, man. Y'all see that he's trying to give away the PSL seats. He's trying to give y'all exclusive access to meet players. He's got boots on the ground, man. He's talking to GMs and players. Don't miss out, man. Get a membership so you don't miss out on the good stuff, man. It's only $1 right now, man. So go ahead, tap in, get a membership, man. And we got more on the way. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. Appreciate y'all.
And yes, sir. I did drop Panthers on Tap link in the chat, so you guys can leave if you want to. Go show them some love. Again, I did see we had a couple people subscribe over there, but again, we need to get them to 1,000. They're literally less than 100 people. So again, Ricky and Curtis, I appreciate you guys joining. Panther Nation, I appreciate you guys joining. It's your man C Dougie over here at What's Up, Doug. The time is now. The time is now. I cannot wait for week 3. Uncle Quan and myself will be in the building. We will be in the building. Section 137, row 4. We will be in the building. We will be in the building. So again, everybody stay safe. Everybody keep pounding. Until next time. Peace.